just think back to Governor Gilmore's speech, and it almost instantly puts things back into perspective. It's like he said, go forward and be successful and achieve your hopes and dreams and aspirations. All I can say is I hope I lived up to that incredible lesson.
And in local news, a 5-year-old figures he has about a year left of peeing at urinals with his pants all the way down. In other news, using the amount of toothpaste shown in commercials is a disgusting experience. A grizzled proofreader has seen it written both ways, and a cackling Warren Buffett burns his entire fortune in front of the nation.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Just dial on in toll-free to 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, Ian here.
And Lauren, Objectivist Girl.
And Mark.
And we'll take your calls about anything. You can also connect with us on Skype at username LRN.FM. But let's start where we left off tonight. I feel like we didn't give Operation Choke Point enough attention, which
this
is
should be good.
The story for those. And since you weren't here, Lauren, we'll catch you and our listeners up to speed who weren't tuned in. According to the Reason.com hit and run blog, the Department of Justice has been threatening banks and having the banks out there close accounts for porn stars. They've also been going after payday lenders, ammunition salespeople, dating service operators, purveyors of drug paraphernalia, and online gambling sites, basically attempting to intimidate businesses out of business by intimidating the banks to get them to close these accounts. Operation Choke Point says the CEO of the Electronic Transactions Association is doing the following: flooding payments companies that provide processing services to those industries with subpoenas, civil investigative demands, and other burdensome and costly legal demands. The theory behind this enforcement program has superficial logic: increase the legal and compliance costs of serving certain disfavored merchant categories, and payments companies will simply stop providing service to those merchants. And
sounds likely.
It's working. Payment companies across the country are cutting off service to categories of merchants that, although providing a legal service, are creating the potential for significant financial and reputational harm as law enforcement publicizes its activities. Thus far, payday lenders have been the most frequent target. And if payday lenders are today's target, what category will be next, and who makes that decision? Back to the Reason.com commentary. That excerpt was from the Electronic Transactions Association at the Hill. I'm not sure who made the decision, but it seems the next big targeted category is the adult film industry. Last week, adult film actress Tegan Presley and an unknown number of others in the porn industry received notices that their Chase bank accounts were being abruptly terminated. When Presley went to the bank in person to ask why, she was told it's because she's considered high risk. According to Vice News, Vice's Mary O'Hara was the first to note a likely link between the porn bank account closings and Operation Choke Point. The Department of Justice did not respond to Vice News' request for comment. For years, various government initiatives have been aimed at reaching the unbanked and the underbanked. Federal officials claim to want to help these individuals avoid high fees and other downsides of non-traditional financial services, but it's hard not to suspect these efforts have at least as much to do with wanting a record of everyone's financial goings-on. If the unbanked were such a real concern, why would federal agencies be simultaneously encouraging banks to drop more customers? Targeting porn performers or not, Operation Choke Point represents an incredible abuse of regulatory power. In a recent American Banker op-ed, former Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation Chairman William Isaac called it a direct assault on the democratic system and free market economy. And
yeah, it's exactly that. This is crazy.
Well, it's the same thing that's been happening to the cannabis businesses out in Colorado. They've been attempting to get bank accounts,
well, it's not
and
the
banks
same
have been
thing.
intimidated.
Well, it's not the same thing in that these porn industries and a variety of other industries we're talking about here have had bank accounts up to this point.
Yes.
Whereas the cannabis companies haven't been banked because they haven't existed. So it's kind of a difference being having your banking ability taken away and having your banking ability just disallowed.
So let me get this straight. So this is a government organization doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then no. I mean, if it were a free market agency doing this, I would say that at least we're starting to see the free market trying to regulate itself, even though it's a poor attempt. But since it's a government agency, no, absolutely not. When you have that much power, you shouldn't be attacking individuals that are underneath you. It's like being the big bully at school, the guy that's got all the big muscles and he's picking on the little nerds, the little weak little nerds. Not that nerds are always weak, just to be clear.
A little bit more here from the story at the Reason article. In a March 2013 hearing before a Senate Banking subcommittee, Senator David Vitter from Louisiana pointed out the obvious, that the Department of Justice has no statutory authority to be doing this. But why bother with statutory authority when you can just secretly strong-arm highly regulated businesses into doing what you want? I've never been much of a cryptocurrency evangelist myself, says the author, but I'm beginning to come around.
You know, I'll tell you what, I find some of these things that the government does, I know that they get away with all this stuff, but I just really am questioning how. Like, why do people keep letting this happen? It's like open
They're
your
afraid.
eyes, turn off the television, and there are things going on around you that are much more exciting than television. I mean,
No doubt.
I mean, look at what they're doing to people.
It's frustrating to me too, Lauren, but really it's ultimately fear. I mean, people in business got into business to do business, not stand up to the state. And so when the state agents come calling with whatever the demands are, people in business snap to. They, do a salute, and they do their duty. As they don't like it, they'll grumble about it. They'll complain to their friends and maybe complain to their coworkers and customers about the federal government or the state or local governments and what they're mandating, but they'll grumble and they'll get it done, because they don't want to be shut down, and because they know that ultimately there's a group of men with guns who will come into their business, who will point those guns at them, and who will take their cash register, they will take the property, they will take the inventory in the store, and they'll shut the entire thing down. That's
and if
why
you resist
it's fair.
at all,
It's fair.
they'll do the same things, but they'll lock you in a cage too.
Or shoot you to death. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's if you won't go to the cage.
Right, and that's basically all that really backs up all government programs, as we well know, and the business owners know it too. It's
and
just
the government has no liability in this circumstance. What's going to happen if the Justice Department, somebody comes out and finally sues the Justice Department, and some judge at some level says, "Yeah, you can't do this, you bunch of dummies." Well, it's not like they're going to give up any money over it. And if they do give up any money, it's taxpayer money, not money coming out of these officials' pockets. So not only do they have the advantage of being able to force people through violence, if necessary, to get what they want, but they don't have to pay for it. They don't have to pay the legal costs. The fact is that these legal costs should be borne by these government officials if they lose, but they won't, ever.
So there's an update on this story from CryptoCoins News, that's CryptoCoinsNews.com, where they say that Operation Choke Point has driven 30 industries to Bitcoin. They go and kind of describe what Operation Choke Point is again, and then under the porn section it says, recently, reports have started to circulate regarding porn stars having their personal bank accounts closed. According to Al Jazeera, PayPal, along with Chase, have been shutting down the accounts of porn stars. Furthermore, PayPal has been tight-lipped on the reason for those account closures, and Operation Choke Point hasn't been explicitly mentioned, at least by Al Jazeera. Porn stars first started reporting to the media that their accounts are being closed in early 2013, with the reports being that hundreds of them have been affected. The Department of Justice doesn't have to worry about BitPay and firearms and ammunition sales, however. BitPay has proven to be an incredible ally to the porn industry. Now, BitPay is one of the few merchant processors out there for the Bitcoin business.
Yep.
I use BitPay, for instance, over on the Keenvention website to sell Keenvention tickets. Porn.com and now Verotel both accept Bitcoin using BitPay, and both are able to charge lower fees without the risk of chargeback. OkCupid has been using Bitcoin for over a year now. That's not a porn site, it's a dating website.
Set up by DARPA.
DARPA apparently was involved in that. But anyway, the point being here that apparently this could be a good thing. I mean, if the porn stars are being pushed out of bank accounts and PayPal accounts, then Bitcoin's going to start looking better and better and better. And all somebody has to do is pitch it to them. Hey, you can accept Bitcoin from your producers, whoever it is that's paying you to do the porn movie. And then you can take that Bitcoin, you can go to gift.com, and you can buy gift cards to Walmart, Target, Amazon, wherever it is that you need to shop. I mean, Derek J was talking about this today. Derek J, who is, by the way, going to be moving back to New Hampshire very soon as part of the Free State Project, he was talking about how he lives off of gift.com. You know, he takes money in Bitcoin, and he never converts it back to cash. He converts the Bitcoin into gift cards for the companies that he's doing business with. It's amazing stuff. And so now maybe more porn stars will be accepting Bitcoin as a result of this. You can share your thoughts, bring up whatever's on your mind. The dark wallet has hit the internet. We'll tell you what that is coming up. Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Lynn, and I am totally blind. Like many who are totally blind, I have non-24, a circadian rhythm disorder that can put your sleep-wake cycle out of sync with the 24-hour day. But I found out there's a new treatment available for non-24. It's called Hetlios Tazimiltian, the first FDA-approved treatment for non-24.
The most common side effects of Hetlios include headache, elevated liver enzymes, nightmares or abnormal dreams, and upper respiratory or urinary tract infection. These may occur more often in patients 65 or older. It may cause drowsiness, so limit your activity to preparing for bed. Hetlios has not been studied, and it is not recommended for use in pregnant women, children, or people with severe liver problems. To learn more and to hear the full prescribing information, visit Hetlios.com or call 844-241-2424. That's 844-241-2424.
Hetlios is now available for non-24. Talk to your doctor today.
Sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
Gold. It's like nothing else on Earth. From the Romans through the Renaissance, from the Industrial Age to the Space Age, gold has weathered the test of time. For 6,000 years, gold has remained the ultimate store of wealth. According to the World Gold Council and the U.S. Mint, demand is at an all-time high. The stage is being set for the reemergence of gold as the common-sense alternative to a fiat paper currency that gets weaker every day. Midas Resources is proud to offer the hard-hitting report that arms you with the truth you need to protect you and your family from the Fed's plans for your hard-earned money. Don't gamble with your future. Call Midas Resources today and ask for your free copy of As Good as Gold. Call 1-800-686-2237 for the report the Fed hopes you'll never see. As Good as Gold can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. If you have ever thought about owning gold, you must read this report. Call Midas today at 800-686-2237.
May I have your attention, please? If you are trying to lose weight, we need your help. We're AF Plus, and we have too much product and too few participants in our nationwide risk-free trial. If you need to lose 30 pounds or more and would like to participate, call now. 1-800-967-9495. AF Plus is an amazing, proven breakthrough in weight loss. A once-daily capsule that can help you lose weight in days. It's also one of the healthiest ways to lose weight because each capsule contains natural ingredients, including green tea extract. You'll boost your metabolic heart rate, allowing you to shed pounds in days with just one capsule a day. Be among the first to call for your risk-free trial. Again, we have too many risk-free trials and too few participants. If you would like to lose 30 pounds or more by taking just one all-natural capsule a day, call now to participate in this nationwide risk-free trial. 1-800-967-9495. That number again is 1-800-967-9495.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. When I found the Free State Project, I knew it was the key to achieving liberty in my lifetime. It's awesome to be surrounded by like-minded, freedom-loving activists who've moved here to New Hampshire. From politics to civil disobedience, we have it all. Where I came from, it felt that no matter what I did, liberty was dying. Perhaps you feel the same way? Call 888-377-2515 now to learn more about the Free State Project. That's 888-377-2515 or visit freestateproject.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Bring up anything you want here toll free, whether you want to talk about Bitcoins and Pornstars or whatever's on your mind. 855-450-FREE. That is the Pro XPN toll free line. You can join us online. You can also join us over via Skype. You can connect to username LRN.FM. Just send a contact request first. We'll accept it, and then make the call on Skype, and you'll sound much better usually than you do on the phone. Again, phone number 855-450-FREE. The website is freetalklive.com.
Sherry's Berries. What these are giant, premium, delicious, juicy strawberries that are dipped in chocolate, white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. They're, obviously beautifully decorated. The thing that amazes me is that every single one of them is delicious. You know, when you go to the grocery store and you have a strawberry,
it's hard to find a batch with all good ones.
Right.
Yeah.
All good ones, half good ones. They're sour or whatever. That's not the way it is with Sherry's Berries.
Mm-mm.
These make a wonderful Mother's Day gift. You can go over there and get an order of Sherry's Berries for $20. That's over 40% off right off the retail price. Or you can double the berries for just $10 more. What you want to do is you want to go to berries.com, click on the microphone in the upper right-hand corner, and enter FTL. Or you can call them at 866-FRUIT-02. That's 866-FRUIT-02 or berries.com. Ian, every time we get, it's time for us to get our Sherry's Berries. These things are delicious. I mean, I look forward to this.
Oh, I'm such a fan of Sherry's Berries.
Berries.com. Click on the microphone in the upper right-hand corner and enter FTL.
All right, so before we get right back into the phone calls here, or into the phone calls, Lauren, you had some sort of comment for Mark that you wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, so Mark, you made a comment about how the government should be footing the bill when they're losing these cases.
The government officials.
Which cases?
Right.
Sorry, which cases?
So if the government...
The porn cases with the, for instance, in this case, the Justice Department is stepping on beyond their legal powers and forcing banks to stop doing business
They're
with...
They're intimidating them to stop doing business by making it very difficult.
Intimidating banks
right.
to prevent them from doing business with certain industries, including porn industry.
So the problem with that is that if the government officials are paying for their mistakes, then it's ultimately the taxpayers that are paying for the mistakes.
Well, what I mean is, currently it is the taxpayers paying their mistakes. So
right.
if a government,
so it's the same either way.
I don't know if that's true.
What mistakes are we talking about? They're getting away with this. So
they're going to be. Well, they are.
You think they're going to be held liable?
They're not going to get away with every single one of the cases. There's no way.
They're going to get caught at some point, and it's going to get reversed. And what I'm claiming is the government officials themselves. It ought to come out of their paychecks. The cost of these trials, because
there are no trials.
Well, there's going to be a trial because these people are going to sue. Somebody's going to sue that they can't get a bank account. Somehow
Maybe
or another,
right.
This is going to come to the only arbitration organization that has any standing.
But wouldn't they, in theory, be suing the bank first? I mean, who are they going to sue over losing a bank account?
I don't look.
The bank. They come to the bank and say, "Hey, remember the porn star in this case that they gave the example of went to the bank in person. She said, "What's going on here?" They said, "We're sorry, you're a high-risk account."
Right. Ian.
We're not obligated to do business with you, lady. We're shutting your account down. Sorry.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Maybe you can't sue to get to the government agency because they've managed to hide themselves so thoroughly in their illegality, but they're breaking the law. And it should be the officials themselves. It should be run up and down the ladder.
Okay.
Everybody who's participating
if they could be held liable,
right.
then that'd be nice.
We have
but come on.
a Byzantine, inefficient judicial system that everybody claims is the best in the world, and you can't even find the evildoers with it. I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, they're not going to be touched in this case. Let's go to Corey. He's in Georgia. You're on Free Talk Live. Hey, Corey.
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's on your mind?
I wanted to talk about the roommate situation that y'all discussed yesterday evening.
Yes, sir. What was that situation? Can you recap it?
Okay, so there were several people living in the same house, and there was a fugitive who was brought into the house by one of them.
Right.
And there were two of the other people had a problem with that. Police ended up coming and saying that they knew that the fugitive was there. They were going to get a warrant and come back and get the person from the home. So my concern, and I haven't listened to the entire episode, so this might have been covered, but if there was one of the people who was the primary lease signer, who had the primary interest and responsibility for taking care of the property, if that was the person protecting the individual, then I think that would make the situation a little bit different.
No, that was not the situation. The people
But it's interesting.
renting the house were all kind of on the same level. They were just renting rooms in a house.
Okay. Then in that case, I would say that they all have the same stake. I mean, because if any one of the roommates left, then the other roommates would have to pay their share of the rent. So
that may not be true either. The rooms were probably rented individually to those people.
That'd be interesting to find out.
I think that's the most important part. Is
I'm pretty certain they were not on a lease together. The roommates came in at a later point. The two in question who did not consent to hiding the fugitive had come in later on after some of the others were already there. So I'm pretty sure it was an individually leased out. The rooms were leased individually, is my understanding.
So the rooms are leased individually, and then there's shared amenities like a kitchen and bathrooms and things like that. Okay, so they all share a responsibility for protecting the amenities that they share, correct?
I would say so.
Would you agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Then I believe that they are all responsible to whoever they're leasing the room and those shared amenities from keeping harm from happening to those shared amenities, because God knows what's going to happen when police raid a home.
Yeah.
So if each individual is leasing a room separately, then they are responsible for protecting the shared amenities that they're all sharing, the rental fee for.
You get no disagreement from me on this.
So that's just kind of my logic about it. There was a caller who called yesterday wondering if they could exclude someone from the common spaces, and I immediately thought, well, what if someone brought in Ted Bundy or a pyromaniac, someone who is going to cause an imminent threat to everyone in the home, and to the structure itself.
Well, ultimately, that's what was done, is that, the fugitive was brought in. This person is an imminent threat, even though they themselves may not be violent. It's a threat in that they're bringing the police, the heat down on the home, and so therefore that is an active threat. It's, to me, an act of aggression. And Corey, thanks for calling with a clarification tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether you want to comment on the Pornstars, Bitcoin, getting their accounts getting shut down, so they're moving over to Bitcoin, or whatever's on your mind here tonight. You got bad roommates, you want to talk about that too, you can certainly do that here. The dark wallet is here. Now, do you guys know about the dark wallet?
No, I don't know anything about it.
I know the dark wallet is some kind of Bitcoin wallet that basically is untraceable.
That's the idea, and government regulators around the world have spent the last year scrambling to prevent Bitcoin from becoming the currency of choice for money launderers and black marketeers. Now their worst fears, according to Wired.com, may be about to materialize in a single piece of software. We'll tell you more about Dark Wallet here in moments and how you can get one. It's Free Talk Live. We will return. Your calls are welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's the Pro XPN toll-free line. Join us on Skype at username LRN.FM. Do you have the dark wallet yet, and how do you feel about it? This is Free Talk Live. You take control.
Question. Could too many GMO foods and toxins be overloading your digestive and immune systems? Answer, yes. If you're searching for a powerful detox that's gentle enough to use every day, use Pro EM1 from Terraganics. Pro EM1 is a powerful liquid probiotic that uses good bacteria to suppress pathogens and gently eliminate toxins from your body. A healthy digestive system will cleanse and remove toxins, support weight loss, improve absorption of food nutrients, and aid in controlling yeast and other infections. Pro EM1 is made with only non-GMO and certified organic ingredients, has no preservatives, and is dairy, soy, wheat, and gluten-free. Pro EM1 is the key to your digestive health. Order Pro EM1 Daily Probiotic Cleanse at Terraganics.com, spelled Terraganix.com, or call toll-free 866-369-3678. That's 866-369-3678. Also available through Amazon Prime. Pro EM1 from Terraganics. Life's getting better.
Free Press Publications is an independent alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary at fpp.cc, as well as weekly news in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com. The monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc and books at shop.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. Find out about giving to our Google AdWords campaign at amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com.
You can watch the LRN Studio Cam and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Take control here, toll free at 855-450-FREE. Skype in to the show at username lrn.fm. You can bring up whatever is on your mind. We're kind of in a Bitcoin mood here tonight. There's lots of interesting news out there in the Bitcoin universe, including the dark wallet. We'll tell you more about that coming up. Dark wallets are definitely targeted towards people who appreciate the idea of privacy, and that's what ProXPN is all about as well. It's about protecting your privacy online, specifically from the snooping internet service provider that you probably have. Were you aware that your ISP is probably logging every website you visit, every single search term that you enter for up to 5 years? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. And what do you want to do about it? I'd recommend ProXPN. You can get it for $5 a month with their premium account. There's no limit on bandwidth with their premium account. You can connect to servers around the world. You can even privately torrent with ProXPN's premium account. You can do it for $5 a month with our discount code. You just have to order the annual plan when you go to proxpn.com/FTL and punch in code FTL20 at checkout, and that'll get you 20% off for the lifetime of your account. Again, multiple servers. I like the Netherlands server. It provides the most privacy protections, especially if you're going to be doing things like privately torrenting. ProXPN.com is an amazing service. Go to proxpn.com/FTL. Get started right now. You can get the software for Windows, Mac, iOS devices, Android devices, whatever operating system you're using. ProXPN can usually be made to work for you, and it's a pretty simple process. Just go get the software, get started at proxpn.com/FTL, and when you're ready to upgrade to their premium account, you can do it with code FTL20. That's FTL20 for 20% off for the lifetime of the account. There's a risk-free 7-day money-back guarantee. You've got nothing to lose but your privacy. Go to proxpn.com/FTL. As we continue here, the dark wallet has arrived. You can go and get yours at darkwallet.is. It's apparently one of those weird, I don't know what the country code is there. There's some kind of country code involved in that, and I don't know what it is, but it's darkwallet.is. But why would you want one of these dark wallets? Well, according to Wired.com, it's about to make Bitcoin money laundering easier than ever. On Thursday, a collective of politically radical coders that calls itself Unsystem plans to release the first version of Dark Wallet, and I can confirm they have released it. It was available actually late last night. A Bitcoin application that is designed to protect its users' identities far more strongly than the partial privacy protections that Bitcoin offers in its current form. If the program works as promised, it could neuter impending Bitcoin regulations that seek to tie individuals' identities to Bitcoin ownership. By encrypting and mixing together its users' payments, Dark Wallet seeks to enable practically untraceable flows of money online that add new fuel to the web's burgeoning black markets. Now, Cody Wilson is one of the founders of this organization. We actually had him on the show briefly from the Liberty Forum. He says that this is a way of using Bitcoin that mocks every attempt to sprinkle it with regulation. It's a way to say to the government, you've set yourself up to regulate Bitcoin? Regulate this. And so they have a fancy little teaser video. Dark Wallet was conceived last summer by Wilson and Amir Takai. Wilson first gained notoriety by creating the first entirely 3D printed gun, the Liberator, which we talked about last year. Taki is an Iranian-British free market anarchist and developer of high-profile Bitcoin projects like Dark Market. Together, they launched a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo that raised $50,000.
Do these guys not geographically live near each other? I mean, they did not interact?
They're shown in the same photograph here. I don't know if that means they live together or they were just together for a picture. But what does it matter anyway?
This sounds really cool. I want one.
Lots of these Bitcoin businesses, Mark, are international. They've got people
I just think
everywhere.
It's kind of interesting that people can do business online or create organizations online and never meet each other.
Well, now, Lauren, weren't you concerned a moment ago? I don't know, maybe it was off the air that Bitcoin's going to become associated with porn, and now here you are saying you want a dark wallet. That means that you're a money launderer, right?
Well, I'm not concerned personally about it. I'm concerned for its future in that way. But I study public relations and branding. And branding's one of those things that helped me create Objectivist Girl. I consider Objectivist Girl's brand to be pretty solid and pretty awesome. But then again, I'm a narcissist. And I'm willing to openly admit that. And But I'm concerned for the way that the rest of the world that doesn't know anything about Bitcoin will see it. If that is the first people that are using it and the main people that are using it. I want to see some startup businesses use it. What I'd like to see
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I'd like to see some stories about how Bitcoin made a business.
I would agree with that.
It made it take off. And without Bitcoin, would have never
I got
worked.
a story for you. Okay, so Keenvention, we did last year, was the very first Keenvention, a kind of a gathering of Liberty people here in Keene in the fall. Basically kind of like imagine the Liberty Forum, but about a fifth the size of that. So it was a much more intimate kind of occasion. We only had activists who were speaking, so there was no big name fancy speakers. Anyway, I accepted Bitcoin for Keenvention for the tickets. And
Only Bitcoin?
No. We accepted credit card through Eventbrite and then Bitcoin as well. And really, we only sold a handful of Bitcoin tickets, no more than 5, to the entirety of Keenvention. There were 30-some tickets that had been sold. About 100 people attended, including the 60 or so guests that we had. So, it was maybe a fifth of the total tickets sold. But that small amount of Bitcoin that came in was enough money's worth of Bitcoin at the end of Keenvention to push Keenvention into the black. So Bitcoin made Keenvention a financial success its first year out. If we had not accepted Bitcoin, the event would have lost money. It would have lost a few $100s. But because we accepted Bitcoin, Keenvention made some small amount of money, which of course is just going to carry over to.
That's the kind of stories that we need to be telling. Yeah. Those are the kind of stories that need to be huge. And that's the thing, is that they have to be louder. They have to roar louder and sound their barbaric yawp louder than the porn industry is using Bitcoin. And
can't happen. I mean, it's just big news.
And the Silk Road. And don't get me wrong, I have no issue with the Silk Road. But there's
porn
a lot
made the internet, Lauren. I mean, I don't know what the percentage.
There's a lot of religious people in this country, though. That's the thing, is that they're closed-minded to anything.
They're going to think it's the mark of the beast.
They're religious people that watch porn. They are what we call hypocrites.
And what's funny about the whole thing is that the Bible says absolutely nothing about either drugs or porn.
Well, they would have a very difficult time talking about porn, wouldn't it?
Since it didn't exist back when the Bible was written.
Thou shalt not draw a dirty picture on a cave wall.
Jesus turned water into wine.
Assume that things are bad. And, don't even get me started on the Bible and not having said anything bad about gay people. But, whatever.
Well, cool.
Whatever.
I get where you're coming from on the branding, Lauren, and I tend to agree. But currently, what is it? Tiger Direct is accepting Bitcoins.
That's right. Yeah.
Overstock.com is accepting Bitcoin. Several of the top 25 websites on the internet are accepting Bitcoin.
WordPress.
And Bitcoin has been laying there as far as a price goes. It's because the people that have Bitcoin don't want to spend it on things that they can spend dollars on. However,
you think so,
if they can get a discount on their porn or buy their drugs more safely online, you're going to see the interaction going on. Because what matters as far as a currency goes is is it changing hands, and it's not changing hands the way it needs to.
Like I said, I am totally all for, I think all companies should be accepting Bitcoin no matter who they are. But the thing is that I want these big stories of how Bitcoin made this company a success, and I want to see so many of this. What
if you've got
really
a story,
cool,
call in 855-450 free.
Right?
Tell your story.
So, but I would really like to see. I would like to push for some company like Procter & Gamble to start accepting Bitcoin.
Well, now they would be, have to accept it from the people they're selling product to, right? Like, so the Walmarts of the world would be their customers.
So Walmart would be a great one.
If Walmart started taking Bitcoin, it would be over for the U.S. dollar.
That's what I'm saying. Is like if we got someone like Procter & Gamble or Walgreens or Walmart or some really big company to start accepting it, that would be it. Like it would be an actual currency now, and that's it. All we have to do is push for that one thing.
Walmart should do it. There was a little while back, we read a story about how Walmart was trying to start their own bank, but there was a banking regulator that was preventing it from happening, and the reason why they wanted their own bank was to save money on credit card fees. So Walmart would love it if they could save all of the money they're currently paying, the 2 or 3% in credit card fees, and only pay a fraction of them in Bitcoin transactions. There's more coming up here on Free Talk Live. You can take control.
All right, hold on. We got to interrupt the regularly scheduled stuff for just a minute. I've got to tell you about this because it's weird. It'll make sense. What if I told you that eating this one weird spice could actually help you reverse diabetes? I know, it's crazy, right? Well, if you or somebody you care about has diabetes or pre-diabetes or easy for me to say, metabolic syndrome, you've got to check out this video. It's free. You may have heard about this. People who've tried it say that they've been able to normalize their blood sugar, stop taking their diabetes meds, and their doctors are all for it. So what is it? What's behind this? Well, the company says it's a natural drug-free approach to reversing diabetes, and they say that it works in as little as 4 weeks, and it all starts with this one weird kitchen spice you probably have in your kitchen right now. So you should check out the free video and see for yourself. It's at WeirdSpice55.com. So write that down. It's WeirdSpice55.com. WeirdSpice55.com.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the no-no, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible no-no hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-6062. That's 800-953-6062. 800-953-6062.
Copblock.org/pivothead. To ensure that a record of the truth of police interactions exists and is accessible, we each need a film. That's why we're happy to announce the Accountability Through Transparency video contest, the winner of which will receive a pair of Pivot Head sunglasses. For more information and to submit your video entry, go to copblock.org/pivothead. 1. Document with a camera a police employee exhibiting double standards or the standards we expect them to live up to. This can be done while on foot, during a vehicle stop, while submitting an open records request, etc. 2. Upload your video to your YouTube channel. 3. Fill out the form at copblock.org/pivothead by the deadline of midnight Eastern Standard Time, May 23rd, 2014. 4. The winner, chosen by contest sponsors, will be notified by email, and the Pivot Head sunglasses will be shipped once a mailing address is received. Copblock.org/pivothead.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
If you want to move to the free state and you're looking for some real estate, well, I know a guy who's really great. It's the realtor Mark Warden. Do you want a home with 20 acres, a lakeside cabin, any takers for renters, buyers, and sellers too? Mark Warden is the guy for you. PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want here. Toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I've got the Dark Wallet installed. I don't really know what I'm doing yet, and the instructions are a little bit lacking on the darkwallet.is website. There's pretty clear instructions as to how to actually install the Dark Wallet. It's not as easy as like normally, this is a Chrome browser extension, by the way. It's only available for Chrome at this time. Normally when you install a browser extension, there's like, you just click the install button and then it just installs for you. This is a little bit more involved, but it's not a complicated process. Still trying to figure out how to actually, use all the features of said Dark Wallet. We'll tell you more about it here in just a moment. Also, we'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Cody Wilson, one of the designers of the Dark Wallet, describes his intentions, this according to Wired.com, for Dark Wallet very directly. He says, quote, "It's just money laundering software," unquote.
I love this guy.
Yeah,
he's
ballsy.
If you think about it,
I mean, much.
So this is really fascinating stuff. It's like a roach motel because the people that want to launder money are who? Arms dealers and drug dealers, mostly drug dealers, right?
Those are two? Sure.
It sounds right.
Okay.
So drug dealers want to launder money. However, if drug dealers become too successful at laundering money, then nation states will no longer be able to disallow the drug trade, at which point the drug trade will go mainstream and the drug dealers will be out of a job.
How would their success at laundering money mean the nation states would leave them alone? I'm confused at what you're saying there.
Well, because they'll get too much money. They'll become too successful.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but the drug cartels have an S-load of money right now.
I don't know.
I'm not sure why.
Then why do they want to launder money?
Did you just say that somebody would have too much money?
It's possible.
I'm an objectivist. That's not a thing. You can't have too much money.
I don't want a bunch of violent thugs that sell drugs for a living to have, any more money.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the government gives them this work, and
through prohibition.
Look, the root problem of this is the government. Shocking.
Indeed. Yes. What a surprise.
Shocking.
Welcome to Free Talk Live.
Well, I don't think that this is going to necessarily mean that there's going to be more drugs available or anything like that. It's just going to mean that it'll be easier to obscure Bitcoin transactions, which a number of people are concerned about today, given that Bitcoin, as Wired.com will point out here shortly, is essentially an inherently trackable system. The Bitcoin, for those that don't know, Bitcoin is this decentralized currency that has a kind of a ledger that is spread across hundreds of thousands of computers around the world. Every computer running the official Bitcoin client has a copy of the entire ledger that it has every transaction that has ever happened on the Bitcoin network. And as new transactions happen, they're added to the ledger on your computer. So you can literally trace where money's come from the very beginning of Bitcoin if you want to. And if you know how to kind of
follow
do that,
it around, yeah,
you can follow the money around. And so kind of the idea behind the dark wallet is to prevent that from happening. We'll explain how that works here, according to Wired.com, and then we'll tell you again about more how to get the dark wallet.
This is the only news organization I would trust to tell me this, by the way.
Despite those provocations by Cody Wilson, the designer, financial regulators have kept mum about the project. The New York Department of Financial Services, which held hearings about Bitcoin in January, and says it plans to create a bit license for some Bitcoin-based businesses. That's disturbing. They didn't respond to a request for comment. In a statement to Wired, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, a.k.a. FinCEN, wrote only that it's, quote, well aware of the many emerging technological efforts designed to subvert financial transparency. It's certainly our business to be interested and vigilant with respect to any activities that may assist money laundering and other financial crimes, unquote. Now, Wilson and Taki...
Now, wait a second. So, I mean, this dark wallet may enable people to, launder bitcoins or whatever, but the fact is that the Tor network, and I assume the dark wallet has some kind of attachment to that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know about that.
Okay,
I don't believe it does.
The Tor network is relatively easy to set up. You sent me a link to some instructions one time because I wanted to, see how hard it was to get on the Silk Road myself.
Yes,
and I did it. I went on the Silk Road and looked around myself. So therefore, anybody who's internet moderate, somebody who's got moderate skills in the
Mark
internet,
Edge can do it,
then it can be done.
Almost anyone can do it.
That's kind of the way I feel. So I went on Tor, but the fact is that on Tor you could move child porn all over the place, as I understand it, and
you could move whatever you want.
It would be whatever's digital, and bomb making plans and a whole variety of things out there, and so far, people aren't using it. It's slower than Christmas.
Aren't using Tor?
Generally,
I don't know how many users there are.
I don't know how many users there are either, but it is not ubiquitous.
Certainly not.
That's why the war on drugs is so dumb. Because the fact is that people who are smart, let me try that again. People that are smart don't do hard drugs, ones that are actually going to hurt you. And people who do hard drugs aren't going to be around very long. So that solves the problem of
it's a self-solving
It
problem.
really is. I don't understand why. I mean, it's between that and a cage. So we've got two options here, right? So we can either let it solve its own problem and not pay any money to the state, or we can take all of this money, throw it, hope that they find the right people, the ones actually doing the hard drugs, not the soft drugs. But we'll just go with find the people. And then throw them in a cage, and then you get to pay for their life in a cage. And then when they leave,
that solves the problem.
And then when they leave, the more than likely they will go into more hard drugs.
Well, don't forget, you can get drugs in a cage too.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I would rather let the problem solve itself.
Really, that's the ultimate absurdity of the war on drugs. The idea being that they're spending billions of dollars trying to stop people from using drugs, ostensibly, but yet they can't even stop people from using drugs inside their own prison, which is a very controlled environment. And if they can't stop drugs from getting into their own prison, how could anyone have a realistic expectation that they would somehow be able to stop them from getting into the entire country? It's just ridiculous, and all it does is prop up the drug cartels, as you were talking about earlier, Mark. So the designers of the Dark Wallet, Cody Wilson and Amir Taki, their money laundering app is politically incendiary, but it's not necessarily illegal, and they argue the code is protected by the First Amendment safeguards on free speech.
Yet.
You know, I would guess that both Wilson and Taki are willing to go to court on this, because there's a very good chance they're going to be arrested for assisting with money laundering.
The word you're looking for is yet.
Wilson states plainly that he intends Dark Wallet to be used for anonymous online black markets like the Silk Road, the Bitcoin-based drug bazaar seized by the FBI in October. By the way, Silk Road's back online as version 2.0. He says, I want private means for black market transactions, whether they're for non-prescribed medical inhalers, MDMA for drug enthusiasts, or for weapons. I mean, this guy's awesome. He's just right out there about what he's doing here. Nor does he deny that Dark Wallet might enable heinous crimes like child pornography, murder for hire, and terrorism. He says, well, yes, bad things are going to happen on these marketplaces. Liberty is a dangerous thing.
I call this unabashed honesty. There's only one other person in my life that is this unabashedly honest, and it's Carlos Morales, and that's why I decided to do a show with him.
Are you officially
objective,
on his show?
Yeah. No, I'm not on his show. Like, we decided to start a show of our own.
For our listeners who don't know, Carlos, or don't recall, he was on from the Liberty Forum with us. He's he's the guy who was formerly with the CPS, the Child Protective Services.
Yeah, he's a whistleblower now.
Right, he's got amazing stories too.
Yeah, so he's...
So wait, you guys are doing a new show? So he's doing his podcast still, and then the two of you are doing something on your own?
Yes, and I'm doing Objectivist Girl, and he's doing his podcast.
So
and
what's
then
the
we're
Together
doing,
show?
It's called True Objective, and it's on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Where does somebody find that?
So if you look on Facebook, you just type in True Objective.
Okay.
It's really the only one, but you can also get it through my Objectivist Girl website.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that is objectivistgirl.com.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to comment on your thoughts on the Dark Wallet. Are you scared of it? 855-450-FREE. Is it exciting? As dangerous as Wilson's vision may be, according to Wired, Dark Wallet also fills a real need for privacy in the Bitcoin economy. Despite its reputation as an anonymous currency, Bitcoin transactions are in some ways nakedly public, even more so than those made with traditional money. Every Bitcoin payment is recorded in the public ledger known as the blockchain, copied to thousands of users' computers, and checked to prevent forgery and fraud in the Bitcoin network. If Bitcoiners don't take special plans to anonymize their coins, all of their spending can potentially be traced back to their Bitcoin addresses by any corporation or government agency that cares to look. We'll continue here with more on this amazing development in the Bitcoin universe. 855-450-FREE. The thing I love about it, it's not an altcoin. It's actually something that works with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's an overlay.
It's a real upgrade.
There's a treasure hunt going on at mathgate.info, a Bitcoin treasure hunt. You can find Bitcoins by proving theorems. So, learn some logic, do some math, find some Bitcoins. Even better, mathgate.info is designed to be used anonymously. So, connect to mathgate.info through Tor, prove some theorems, find some anonymous Bitcoins. Don't wait, others are already searching for the Bitcoins. Go to mathgate.info today and join the treasure hunt. There are anonymous Bitcoins to be had for the taking at mathgate.info.
Geico presents a man who just saved on his motorcycle insurance.
First off, my name is Daryl. Second, this is no motorcycle. This monster is 1,100 cc's of raw internal combustion power.
Feel the ground shake!
Now, I know what you're thinking. Where's this science teacher's logical attitude that goes with his sensible sneakers? Well, Mr. Rains on my parade, I saved a bunch on motorcycle insurance with Geico. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some young minds that need molding.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
Thanks to Bitcoin, LRN.FM is able to provide our free-to-air satellite channel across North and Central America. You can listen to LRN.FM 24/7 via satellite for no monthly cost. Learn more about our satellite channel at sat.lrn.fm. And if you'd like to help us continue to expand, you can send us Bitcoins via the address you'll find under the Bitcoin graphic in the right column of LRN.FM. To learn more about Bitcoin, visit weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but will hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, May 1st, 2014. Silver is trading at $18.91 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $452. Antiwar.com reports, early last week, U.S. officials began hyping the potential killing of alleged al-Qaeda bomb-making mastermind Ibrahim al-Asiri, who they identified as having been killed in an ambush by U.S. ground troops in Yemen. At the time, they claimed a sniffer dog was brought in and positively identified one of the corpses as that of al-Asiri, but Yemen has finally gotten around to conducting an actual DNA test, and the results show it is not. Yemen apparently sent the DNA to Saudi Arabia, where they had the DNA on file of Ibrahim's brother, who died in a suicide bomb attack. There was no match between the two. Officials say they were unable to get a DNA confirmation of either al-Asiri or Nasir al-Wuhaishi from any of the scores of slain suspects from the U.S. attacks, a disappointment for them. Completely ignored in this fact is that the U.S. killed those scores of people on the assumption that al-Asiri was one of them, and not a single one has been identified. You've heard of ShinyBadges.com, but you need to check out the New Causes tab. Every item in that section includes a donation to a worthy liberty project like Antiwar.com. So go to ShinyBadges.com, click on the New Causes tab, and get yourself a quality product that not only supports the cause you believe in, but starts a conversation with your neighbors. Plus, get a free gift when you pay with Bitcoin at ShinyBadges.com. The Associated Press reports a botched execution that used a new drug combination left an Oklahoma inmate writhing and clenching his teeth on the gurney Tuesday night, leading prison officials to halt the proceedings before the inmate's eventual death from a heart attack. Clayton Lockett was declared unconscious 10 minutes after the first of the state's new 3-drug lethal injection combination was administered. 3 minutes later, he began breathing heavily, writhing and clenching his teeth, and straining to lift his head off the pillow. The blinds were eventually lowered to prevent those in the viewing gallery from watching what was happening in the death chamber, and the state's top prison official eventually called a halt to the proceedings. Lockett died of a heart attack after a short time. Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin ordered a 14-day stay of execution for Charles Warner, who was scheduled to die 2 hours after Lockett. She also ordered the state's Department of Corrections to conduct a full review of Oklahoma's execution procedures to determine what happened and why during the execution. If Clayton Lockett suffered because of a collapsed vein or improperly inserted needle, that would suggest human error was to blame rather than an underlying flaw in the execution system. If the drugs or the secrecy surrounding them played a role, legal experts say defense attorneys could have a wider legal opening to attack the injection method, plus powerful new evidence to press the U.S. Supreme Court to get involved. A day after the execution went awry, attorneys for some death row inmates began planning new appeals or updating existing cases based on events in Oklahoma. Many called for moratoriums and independent investigations. Texas-based attorney Maury Levin, who spent Wednesday preparing new briefs questioning that state's execution practices, said, "Every prison is saying, we have it under control. Trust us. This just underscores in bold that we can't trust them and that prisons have to be accountable to the public and transparent in the method in which they carry out executions." FPP Radio News is brought to you by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. For over 35 years, Roberts & Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They now take Bitcoin for purchasing precious metals so you can turn your profits into a long-term investment. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing. 800-874-9760. Reuters Canada reports Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, who gained global notoriety after admitting to smoking crack cocaine, said he is ready to take a break from his re-election campaign and get help. Ford said he wants to deal with his issues, but said he is being urged by people around him not to leave the mayoral race and plans to stay on the ballot. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Markets went into a frenzy today after the price of money suddenly skyrocketed to $90 a dollar. Onion reporters spoke to economics professor Mark Cosgrave about the soaring cost of U.S. currency and the impact of increasingly unpredictable dollar-to-dollar rates.
Right now, money prices are steeply rising with no signs of slowing down. This morning alone, the price of dollars nearly tripled, with 1 cent worth approximately $6. That's exponentially higher than even a week ago when money was trading at roughly $53 on the dollar. To put it bluntly, we're now in the midst of a national economic crisis.
According to Cosgrave, the abrupt spike in dollar prices initially caused many Americans to hold on to their money, hoping that the $90 cost of dollars would soon dip back down. But as prices continued to climb, investors panicked and began purchasing as much money as possible.
But with the cost of quarters hitting $4.97 and the $5 bill jumping to a 12-year high of $372, the days when you could get $30 or $40 for just a couple of bucks are unfortunately long gone.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want as we're launching into the second hour of the program. Plenty of time for you and your thoughts. Dial in toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, Lauren is going to tell us about how public radio is for moochers. We'll get into that here. Also, still talking about the dark wallet. I'll tell you more about what that is. Nona is on the line, though, in Texas to start things out here in this hour. Hello, Nona. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Lauren, and Mark.
Hi, Ian. I just wanted to tell y'all that I've been a conservative for a long time, and y'all really kind of opened my eyes a bit. And I've been looking at free keying and stuff like that, and y'all are really kind of heroes to me.
Oh,
what
thanks.
y'all are doing, you know. Really, government, even here in Texas, I live in a small rural town in Texas, and it's just gotten out of hand. So, also, y'all had asked about Wit on your Facebook page. I wish y'all would keep bringing him on the air because I just enjoy it. But
I don't have a problem bringing Wit on the air. I guess somebody on Mark's show, maybe on Sundays, hasn't been doing it. If Wit is on when I'm behind the microphone, he'll get on if he waits long enough. But usually, the general rule on callers around here is people that we don't know come first. And Wit is definitely somebody who is a chronic caller, so he usually has to wait. So sometimes that means Wit waits till the end of the show and doesn't get on. But ultimately, I have no rule against Wit.
He often calls in on Saturdays, which means that he has a difficult time getting on because Saturdays there's a bunch of calls.
If Whit were to call in this hour, he would easily get on because, well, you're the only person with us right now, Nona. So go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, really? That's cool. Well, I was wondering if y'all have thought about expatriating at any point, because for me, seeing the government buying all those hollow point bullets and just their general disdain towards people, I'm really thinking about expatriating as soon as I get the money, and I was wondering if y'all had ever thought about that too.
Do you know where you'd like to go? Do you have any thoughts?
Yes, A Pacific Island nation sounds pretty good.
Any old Pacific Island nation, or just you like? Sounds nice down there.
Fiji or the Marshall Islands.
I would have to check the Marshall Islands. Those may actually be U.S. protectorates, but I've looked into this expatriation thing, and so I went down to Belize a couple of months ago with this sort of, an eye on whether I would want to live there. It's a place that English is the first language, and you can get by, with English there. They're very tolerant of people of different ethnicities. It doesn't seem to matter to them. Of course, they look to bilk tourists as much as anybody, but, not so bad. All in all, it was a really nice place. But the one thing that for me, having lived in New Hampshire and around a bunch of people that are concerned about the ideas of liberty, is that, there's never going to be another place like that. There's never going to be a place where people are moving towards freedom. All the momentum around the world, sadly, is going towards bigger government. Even the places that don't want to particularly grow their government, the United States is giving them money to build their government apparatuses inside their nation. So it's really a difficult place for somebody who's looking for a freer place to find one.
Yeah, I mean, really the only reason to go and expatriate and go to some other country, whether it's an island nation or South America or wherever it is you would end up, the reason to leave is essentially to run away and to disappear. I mean, if to me, liberty means something that I'm willing to put my freedom on the line for, because I want to see other people have a chance at being more free as well as myself. I can't just stand by and watch as people are abused by the people calling themselves the state. And I know that wherever it is I move to, if I were to leave the United States, that I would still see the same abuse of people. Now, one could argue that there's less abuse by governments in other countries. That's probably true in some ways. But in other ways, there are still people who are being harassed by the police, people who are being arrested for nonviolent, victimless crimes. And I don't want to just go and, live in some gringo, white bread neighborhood with bars around the house, or, a big barbed wire fence or something like that, and just live out the rest of my life. I wouldn't feel like I was doing anything important.
Yeah, I really have to echo you there, Ian. Being objectivist girl and having read Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, Dagny decides to leave at the end. And in all honesty, for me, that was the most disappointing outcome of that book. She was my hero because she stuck it out. And then when she left, for me, that was...
It was like giving up?
Yeah, it was giving up on society, and I understand that mentality, and you don't owe them. I know the point was that we don't owe them our lives, but that's the thing. It makes me happy to stay here and fight, and because there are people that can't afford to move to Belize, and there are, I mean, this country is the most likely to find freedom because of the fact that we were founded on freedom. And to be a patriot is to be someone that loves freedom. And we've lost that. The fact that people think that being a patriot is following the government, they've forgotten their roots.
It's hard enough to move to New Hampshire from Florida, as I did, and bring the ideas of liberty here and talk about them, because that stirs things up. It makes things difficult with some of the local natives who don't like the idea that, oh, you carpetbagger, free staters, flatlanders, you're interlopers, you're coming in here trying to change things. That's hard enough to deal with here. Yeah. It certainly wouldn't fly in Belize or wherever else.
Imagine if you go someplace where you're clearly not native, and you're differentiated by ethnicity, and then say, "Hey, I'm here to save you, folks." That's going to go really poorly.
At least in New Hampshire, there's a long history of freedom in this place, and that helps us.
But I think if you're going to hide in style. Get a sailboat and move around the Caribbean. That way, you're not in any one particular government jurisdiction any amount of time, and get a catamaran. That way you don't have to live life at 45 degrees the whole time.
So there you go, Nona. You asked, and you got a very lengthy answer from us. What further thoughts did you want to share?
Well, today I read a news story about a transient man whose chained Labrador was shot in the head by the police and killed, and it just got me. And actually, it happened in Sulphur, Louisiana, which is about half an hour from where I live in Texas.
It's horrifying.
And it just, oh my gosh, it just killed me, and you know, at a certain point, I just get so tired of the people being apathetic around me, and I just want to say, you know what, y'all can have each other, and I just want to go somewhere else.
If you love the ideas of liberty, I would highly recommend New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project. I was actually listening to Taryn Lupo, who we've had on the show a number of times in the past, and he's been living down there in Savannah, Georgia, and he's finally fed up. He can't stand I'm paraphrasing what he said on the radio with Angel Clark today. He said he's fed up with being in a place where he feels like he's disconnected from everybody. He feels like nobody agrees with him, and that liberty is dying every day more and more down there in Georgia, and he's ready to make the move, sounded like later on this year, to New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project. Here you move into a community of people who understand freedom. Here you've got neighbors instantly who maybe they don't live right next door, but usually there's some of them a few streets away in the larger places like Concord or Manchester or Keene, for instance. So you'll have a built-in community of people who care, people who've picked up their lives and have moved, which is a real level of dedication that the average person just doesn't have, and that's why we're having success here. Nona, thanks for your call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you, and when you get a chance, come up to the Porcupine Freedom Festival if you can. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, come join us.
Porcfest.com, by the way, is where you can go. Porcfest.com. Were you there last year, Lauren, at Porcfest?
No, this will be my...
This is your first time.
Yeah, I know. That face you just made. Yeah, that's the face everybody makes.
Very exciting.
And I hadn't come to Liberty Forum or anything. I just went ahead and moved here.
Good for you. That was the same thing with me.
I didn't want to visit. Like, I wanted to just... I couldn't wait
it was
to disengage. This is going Galt for me. Like, coming here is the closest thing I'm going to ever get to going Galt.
Porcfest.com. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up here in a moment. And what's in store for you if you attend the Porcupine Freedom Festival? And if you go this year, you'll be a first-timer just like Lauren. And most of the people that go to Porcfest are brand new. Whenever I ask in front of an audience at Porcfest, how many are you here for the first time? I swear to you, 70 to 80% of the audience raises their hand.
It gets bigger every year.
It's amazing. There's more coming up here in moments. You can share your thoughts. Also, more about the Dark Wallet on the way. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live, and our Skype username, by the way, is LRN.FM.
Everybody wants to know, what can you buy with Bitcoins? Isn't there like a Bitcoin general store or something? Well, yes, now there is, and it's at BitcoinGeneralStore.com. BitBrew and the Bees Brothers have teamed up to create a place where U.S. customers in the lower 48 can shop for, well, anything, with free shipping. What can you find at BitcoinGeneralStore.com? Bitcoin apparel, stickers, gifts, precious metals, physical Bitcoins, coffee and honey, of course, and electronics and computer accessories. The folks at Bitcoin General Store are true Bitcoin believers who don't even use third-party payment processors. They get their inventory direct with Bitcoin and pass on the savings to you. Shop at BitcoinGeneralStore.com with confidence that you are supporting a real Bitcoin economy. You gotta see what they have to offer. Visit BitcoinGeneralStore.com today. That's BitcoinGeneralStore.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge, host of Free Talk Live. We've been witnessing a meltdown of the very economic engine that powers this country. With a printing press tethered to Washington politicians, bureaucrats, and central bankers, how can we put our trust in paper money? For years, I've been buying gold and silver from Midas Resources, and you should too. Come see gold.freetalklive.com or call 877-357-9938 for a free book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold. With Washington, D.C. delivering more debt and printed promises, common sense tells us the future of the trend is obvious. Everyone listening should visit gold.freetalklive.com or call 877-357-9938. I trust Midas Resources for my gold, silver, platinum, and you can too. Again, I want you to have this book, and it's free. It's gold.freetalklive.com or 877-357-9938. 877-357-9938.
After months of struggling to find their footing, it looks like the GOP has finally found an effective spokesman. Since Republican leaders unveiled the reanimated corpse of Ronald Reagan at a fundraising event last week, the undead former president has quickly emerged as the new face of the Republican Party. Since Reagan was brought back from the grave by GOP leaders in a top-secret $2.2 million reanimation project, poll data shows Reagan with a higher favorability rating than all other high-profile Republicans combined.
The voters know Reagan, they trust Reagan, time, when he moans at them, they're going to listen.
There's questions as to whether he still has capacity for thought, and he does eat people, but big picture, he's the best option they have right now.
And appeared in a series of GOP ads promoting the Republican Party's traditional values.
Congress and the president say they're trying to help fix our country's economy. Ronald Reagan and the Republican Party have the right idea for America's future.
This is the Onion News Network.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Liberty activists around the country are starting to realize politics alone won't set us free. So what will? At Liberty on the Rocks, we believe the answer starts with living your principles, spreading ideas, and connecting with those around you. By starting a Liberty on the Rocks network, you can make a difference by uniting libertarian thinkers. Find out how much fun it is to build your local network from the ground up. Visit libertyontherocks.org today to get started.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited here to bring up whatever's on your mind. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's brought to you by ProXPN, and we have Skype. You can Skype into the show at username lrn.fm. Coming up, public radio is for moochers. Lauren will tell us more about that. Also, the Porcupine Freedom Festival. I mentioned it in the last segment briefly. But just to give you more information about what it is, Mark, how would you describe the Porcupine Freedom Festival?
A large camping festival in the White Mountains of New Hampshire where liberty-oriented folks do a variety of things from, family events, shooting events, hiking, lots of speeches, parties, dances, all kinds of things. It is really a good time. I cannot stress that enough. It's a life-changing experience for many.
If you've got a family, you're going to have a good time. If you come up with, let's say you've got a boyfriend or girlfriend, just your couple or whatever, come up, you're going to have a good time. If you're single, you're going to have a good time. I mean, there's just so many different types of people that are at the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Lots of them. Over 1,500 people who love freedom. That's the uniting theme among the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Not everybody agrees on all the issues, but we do agree that we need more freedom in general. And the Porcupine Freedom Festival is put on by the Free State Project. It's kind of this yearly camping fest. Maybe you don't like to camp. They do have hotels in the area. There's a motel on the property, but I'm betting you that's sold out at this point. I've heard
Definitely.
I've heard the campsites are sold out, but the RV sites are available. And that doesn't mean you have to have an RV. You can still rent an RV site and just pop a tent on the RV site. So there's still plenty of room for you. It's not too late. The Porcupine Freedom Festival tickets are on sale online through the end of this month. And then you're going to have to do it like day of. When you just show, if you're going to show up, you can still just show up. You're going to have to pay more when you do that. So get the tickets now at porcfest.com, and we will see you there, by the way. Free Talk Live is going to be doing our program live every single night. This is a week-long event. It's June 22nd through the 29th. That's the 22nd through the 29th, and that's actually right before, Lauren, you've got an event that you're helping throw in Manchester. The Atlas Society is putting on a convention. Is that right?
Yes,
tell me a little bit about that.
So we're holding the Atlas Summit, and the Atlas Summit is basically 3 days. 4 if you're a student. We bring you a day early if you're a student. We also offer you a free scholarship for students that apply for the scholarship. It's pretty easy to get the scholarship, and we have about 20 slots left. But and you should get a hold of me if you want to come. But anyway, it's a great environment for learning about objectivism for the first time. It's also a great environment for those who are more advanced in objectivism because the classes really cater to all different levels. And the other thing is, if you just really are curious what an objectivist is like, I mean, other than me, then, I mean, even if you just want to meet me, I'm going to be there. And we're going to be having a great time. And
this is an international event, though. This isn't just like a New Hampshire thing.
Oh, no. There's going to be people from Asia there, and which is like shocking. That's never happened before. And then Europe.
Well, it used to be a D.C.-based event, and now it's moved to Manchester, New Hampshire.
We always
first
get
year?
people.
Is it the first year in Manchester?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the first year in Manchester. We're trying to move everything.
So good excuse to come to New Hampshire early, right? Because some people like to come to New Hampshire before the Porcupine Freedom Festival and stay after the Porcupine Freedom Festival. So this is literally the 3 days prior to, or the Friday, Saturday, Sunday prior to the Sunday that Porcfest starts. Porcfest starts on Sunday, June 22nd, and that's the very last day of the Atlas Seminar. What is it? The
Atlas Summit. And yes, that's the other good part, is that you can just come up early, and we actually help with travel for some students. And what's great is that you can just go ahead and book your tickets to stay here.
And then go straight to Porcfest after
so
that.
Some of you will get your whole ticket paid for if you're inside the U.S., or some of your ticket paid for if you're outside of the U.S.
Where does one go to learn more about this event?
Come to my Objectivist Girl page, and I will help you fill everything
or
out.
on the website?
No, on my Facebook.
Awesome. So very cool. We will update you more on that as we learn more about it. And again, go to Porcfest, PORCFEST.com. If you can only do one, do Porcfest. If you can only do a weekend of Porcfest, do the weekend. You don't want to miss this amazing event.
A lot of people are just going to do the weekend.
It's worth it. I mean, gosh. But I'll tell you what, the weekdays at Porcfest have become something else.
I prefer that.
It used to be so, like the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, used to be kind of dead at the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and it would really ramp up on the weekend. Last year, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were way busier than the year before that, and that year was pretty decent. So it's just turning into just a wall-to-wall festival.
I'm surprised they haven't incorporated that Saturday and Sunday prior to.
I bet they've been considering it.
That's the other reason you guys should come. So don't just come for the weekend. Come for Thursday too, and make sure you're
there
there
about the
early.
Atlas thing or Porcfest?
For Porcfest.
Okay.
So I'm doing a talk at Porcfest
On Thursday?
Yes,
Okay.
on Thursday at 11 a.m. And you should all come, because it's why every anarchist should love objectivism.
Oh, you know, it's interesting at Porcfest. There's such a large amount of people out there. You may have some challenging people in your audience.
That's okay.
With an event like that.
It's a
lot of people
you can handle yourself. Huh?
I'm really not worried about that.
Okay, good.
I have logic and reason on my side. So
I'm sure
an
the other people
objectivist.
think that too.
I'm objectively right. I'm just kidding.
So come on out. You don't want to miss
At least when
this.
shown wrong, if you're objective, you can see that you are.
Exactly. That's what's the great part about it.
Another thing that's great about the Porcupine Freedom Festival, it's one of the primary Bitcoin accepting places in the universe. I mean, the Porcupine Freedom Festival made headlines with Bitcoin Magazine a couple of years ago, because I think it was 2012 when it was pretty big to have Bitcoin at Porcfest. It was bigger in 2013. I mean, it seemed like every
called
vendor,
the largest Bitcoin event in the world at that point.
Yeah, I don't know if that still holds, but it's certainly a big event that most of, I don't know if maybe it's not fair to say most, but a lot of the vendors at the Porcupine Freedom Festival, possibly most of them, are
probably
Bitcoin,
by the end of the event they're all going to take it.
Are Bitcoin friendly. You can buy your ice cream with Bitcoin there. You can buy food with Bitcoin. It's just it's a really unique experience. Porcfest.com. So we were talking about the dark wallet at Wired.com. They've got a story about what is it? Well, it is something that actually allows you to obscure Bitcoin transactions. And the way it does that is it avoids privacy and trust problems, in that, the Bitcoin network's fully open. Anybody can examine it, by integrating laundering by default into every payment that its users make. Its central tool is a technique called coin join. Every time a user spends Bitcoins, his or her transaction is combined with that of another user chosen at random who's making a payment at around the same time. If, say, Alice is buying Acacia socks from an online sock seller and Bob is buying LSD on the Silk Road, Dark Wallet will combine their transactions so the blockchain records only a single movement of funds. The Bitcoins simultaneously leave Alice and Bob's addresses and are paid to the sock seller and the Silk Road. The negotiation of that multi-party transaction is encrypted, so no eavesdropper can easily determine whose coins went where. And to mix their coins even further, users can also run CoinJoin on their Bitcoins when they're not making a real payment, instead sending them to another address that they own. That's what I've tried to do just a moment ago. I published a dark wallet stealth address on our Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. I asked people to send something, but no one has done that yet. So I went ahead and sent myself something through the system. We'll see how it works out. It's Free Talk Live.
Springtime is save big time at Herbal Healer Academy. Long-term customers know spring is the time to stock up at herbalhealer.com. And for new customers, welcome to the web's best place to save on vitamins, minerals, and more. Log on for spring specials, including our 500 parts per million colloidal silver, all sizes on sale. Choose from Herbal Healer's great variety of weight loss products like apple cider vinegar, Hoodia and Metabolic Complex, and Pro Metabolic, all on sale now. Also, the Anti-Parasite Intestinal Freedom and Warwood Plus Complex, plus Stevia Liquid Sweetener and the Super Enzymes, all on sale for spring at herbalhealer.com. As always, we offer certificate correspondence courses in natural medicine. Enjoy same-day shipping and free online newsletter. Log on now to herbalhealer.com and click on Spring Specials to save big with our nation's leader in supplying quality natural medicine and education since 1988, Herbal Healer Academy.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime was to move together with others who think like you? Liberty activists are joining the Free State Project, which is over 70% of the way to its goal of 20,000 participants. And they're already making the move to New Hampshire. The successes are piling up and are proving the Free State Project is a real movement and no longer just a great idea. When you're planning your move, consider Keene. Keene is famous for its civil disobedience and non-cooperation, and there's plenty of political opportunity as well. From demonstrations and vigils to outreach and volunteering, there's a lot going on in Keene. Keene is the liberty media capital of the world, with television, talk radio, and more, all originating here. Though it's more than just activism, with regular social events each week. See what's happening at freekeene.com and get connected with video, audio, free books, a forum, and activist tools you can download and use in your area at freekeene.com. That's freekeene.com.
Are you looking for camping, hunting, survival, or shooting gear? ManVentureOutpost.com carries the name brands you want at the lowest prices. Ammunition, knives, firearm accessories, archery, air guns, scopes, binoculars, laser sights, tactical flashlights, fish finders, and boating equipment. ManVentureOutpost.com is family-owned and has the lowest prices. Go check it for yourself. Get it quick. Get it from ManVentureOutpost.com.
Now buy firearms at ManVentureOutpost.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live here to take your calls. It's Ian,
Lauren,
and Mark.
And you can join us online. Just go to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features that you'll find on the site. You know, one of the things you can do at freetalklive.com is you can send Bitcoins our way. We got the Bitcoin address over there at bitcoin.freetalklive.com. Now, that's the regular Bitcoin address. I have yet to put the dark wallet address up on the site because I'm really not sure how you use the dark wallet yet. Still experimenting with that. If you want to find our dark wallet address, what may be a temporary subject to change one, you go to our Facebook page right now. There's a post there about the dark wallet. If you want to test out the dark wallet, you can do that. I made an LRN chat room in the dark wallet service. There's chat rooms involved in dark wallet as well. So go and check that out. We'll tell you more about the dark wallet here in a moment, but you can also get a regular wallet from blockchain.info. And if you're a merchant services person, or if you're a merchant and you're looking for merchant services for accepting Bitcoins from your customers, blockchain.com has a solution.
Right. Blockchain.com is a free merchant app. They have available there, I guess, a free merchant app. It's obviously blockchain.com's a website, but that's basically the purpose of that page is this free merchant app that you can use safely, securely on a smartphone or a tablet. You can use it through Wi-Fi, or you can use it through your cell phone, whatever. You can accept, if you've got a physical business, this is really made for people who have physical businesses. You can begin to accept Bitcoins easily. You don't want people to have access to your blockchain.info account, and that's the parent company there is blockchain.info. You don't want your employees to have access to that. So this merchant app's great because that way your employees can accept Bitcoins, they can do business in Bitcoins, but they don't have access to your Bitcoins. There are no terms of service and no ID requirements of any kind. Imagine for a second, there are no terms of service for you to accept. It's just an app. Download it and use it. Go to blockchain.com, download the app from Google Play and get started. Zero fees. Blockchain.com.
All right, so you can bring up anything that you want. The toll-free number 855-450 free. We're talking about the dark wallet. It just launched today at darkwallet.is. That's where you can go and download the Chrome extension and start playing around with this thing that basically is designed to launder money. Now, of course, it can be used completely legally as well. It's just essentially what it does is it kind of muddles up your Bitcoin transactions by combining your Bitcoin with other people's Bitcoin. And I did try sending myself like 0.0005 Bitcoin through their stealth system, as it's called. It's still going, so It's not exactly too fast. It's telling me that it's at like 2%, and it's been sitting at 2% for the last couple segments.
Does that need to be
Ian, it's ironic that it's come out today.
What, the dark wallet?
Yeah.
Why is that ironic?
Because do you know what day it is, Ian?
May Day, well, the National Communist or the International Communist Celebration Day.
It is May Day. You're right, May 1st.
No, it is National Day of Reason, everyone. Hashtag Ayn Rand.
Are you sure it's not U.S. Loyalty Day?
No, it is definitely National Day of Reason. Woohoo! So go read an Ayn Rand book in honor.
What does that have to do with Ayn Rand?
Because Ayn Rand advocated for reason.
Did she? But didn't she also support war? I mean, that's not very reasonable.
No, she never supported war.
No? Okay,
no, that wasn't a thing. No, Leonard Peikoff supported war.
I see.
Yeah.
And he was her boyfriend.
She said that no, that was Nathaniel Brandon.
Right.
He's on the other side. Nathaniel Brandon's with the Atlas Society, and Leonard Peikoff's with ARI.
All right, thanks for setting me straight on that.
No, but seriously, Ayn Rand said that the second greatest evil in the world is war, right after dictatorship. Yeah, you like her more now, don't you?
I'm not sure
Ian?
how you'd. Well, I don't have any problem with Ayn Rand. It's just that
the only way that you're allowed,
there's a cult around her.
The only reason that war is number 2 is because in the case of dictatorship, you're allowed to go to war with the government. It's not preferable, as I covered in an article of mine. It's actually not in your rational self-interest to go to war with the government.
The best thing to do is get out.
The cost-benefit analysis is just not good. It errs on the side of a peaceful revolution.
And frankly, if you look at the deaths in the 20th century, you'll find that it's dictatorships that killed more people than war did. War was terrible, and it killed tens of millions of people around the world. trying to think of the Taipei Rebellion. Anyway, tens of millions, I don't think hundreds of millions of people killed by war, but hundreds of millions killed by dictatorships. So there you go.
So more about the dark wallet and how this thing works. It just hit the web yesterday. Darkwallet.is is the website. You can go and grab one there. It's free. So one of the things that it does is it mixes your Bitcoins with other people's Bitcoins in a way that makes
unless there aren't any other Bitcoins to mix with, in which case it just sits there.
That's
apparently.
what I'm wondering, why mine is just sitting there. I mean, I would presume there's more than just me on this system, but who knows how many people have adopted this at this point. One Bitcoin privacy issue that CoinJoin solves. CoinJoin is the technology that they use to mix people's Bitcoins together. That it relates to what are called change addresses. Now, when Bitcoins from a single address are spent, the unspent fraction of coins are sent back to a change address that the spender controls. Future transactions from that address can be tied to the same user, but with each successive CoinJoin transaction through the dark wallet, the coins are mixed with another new user's payment, and the likelihood of guessing which change address belongs to which user is cut in half again. So when you start to join transactions, it muddles them, says the programmer. As you start to go down the chain, you can only be 50% sure the coins belong to any one person, then 25%, then 1 out of 8 and 1 out of 16. The conditional probability drops very fast. To protect the identity of the user receiving coins instead of spending them, Dark Wallet offers a different technique known as a stealth address. Any user can ask Dark Wallet to generate a stealth address along with a secret key and then publish that stealth address online as his or her Bitcoin receiving address, which is what I have done now. I put a Dark Wallet stealth address up on our Facebook page.
Real stealthy, getting on the radio and talking about it.
Well, yeah, it's certainly not a surprise that you're going to be sending Bitcoin to Free Talk Live in that case. But just for those of you, if you want to test it out, you can do that. The recipient's Dark Wallet then... Stand by. The Dark Wallet is when another Dark Wallet user sends payment to that address, Dark Wallet is programmed instead to send the coins to another address that represents a random encryption of that address. The recipient's Dark Wallet... Am I losing you yet?
You're getting close.
Yeah. The recipient's Dark Wallet client then scans the blockchain for any addresses it can decrypt with the user's secret key, finds the stealth payment, and claims it for the user. The important thing is that when someone pastes your stealth address into the blockchain search tool at, say, blockchain.info, absolutely nothing shows up, says Peter Todd, who's a Bitcoin consultant who advised Dark Wallet on the stealth address feature. The payment is entirely hidden.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's fascinating stuff. Dark Wallet. So basically, this Dark Wallet technology will allow you, once you put Bitcoins into your Dark Wallet, so when you get the Dark Wallet, there's Bitcoin receiving addresses that will work with any Bitcoin client. So you get into your regular Bitcoin client, your blockchain.info or the official Bitcoin client, you send Bitcoins to your new Dark Wallet address. Once the Bitcoins are in the Dark Wallet, if you know someone's Dark Wallet secret address, you can just send it to a secret address and it's completely untraceable.
Now,
so if you want to send
this is
Bitcoin,
the new technology here, because the fact is the coin washing that you were doing there, the CoinJoin thing, I believe blockchain.info has that ability right there on the website. So you can mix your coins with somebody else when you're sending and receiving or whatever. And
this does it with every transaction. Now, on blockchain.info, you do have to pay a small fee in order to use that service.
Okay.
Just like you do with Bitcoin Fog, which is another Tor-based system.
What's the small fee? What's it like as far as...
It's reasonable.
Costs?
It's fairly small. I don't know what the fee is. Less than 1%, maybe a 1%.
Okay.
But Dark Wallet, I don't believe, is taking fees. I mean, there's fees that you're sending to the Bitcoin network to process the transaction as you normally would with any Bitcoin transaction, but I don't believe there's any fees actually going to the Dark Wallet company. That's my understanding.
Okay.
So Dark Wallet's developers admit it's still at an early stage and that, like any cryptography project, it will only prove itself and patch its bugs over time. Taki says, for instance, the software eventually combine more than 2 users' payments in every CoinJoin transaction and also integrate the anonymity software Tor. So it's not integrated yet, but they're working on it.
Got it.
To better protect users' IP addresses. In its current form, Taki says Dark Wallet protects IPs only by obscuring them behind the server that negotiates the CoinJoin transaction. So they've still got some work to do, but it's out, and you can get yours at darkwallet.is, and more Free Talk Live is coming up.
Angioprim can unclog blocked arteries and improve blood flow in all parts of your body. Angioprim is oral chelation. Easy, simple, liquid oral chelation. You take it with juice before breakfast and forget about it. Angioprim works fast, unlike old-fashioned chelation that takes hours. Just log on to angioprim.com. That's Angioprim, ANGIOPRIM, angioprim.com. Angioprim users say they have more energy, more strength, more endurance. Increased circulation and blood flow will make all your body parts work better. Log on to angioprim.com to get more information on how you can get started and start feeling better, having fun, and doing more again. Lots more. Talk to a trained Angioprim consultant. Call Angioprim toll-free at 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221. Or log on for complete information. Angioprim.com. That's angioprim.com. Find out how Angioprim can work for you. Get the facts about Angioprim at angioprim.com.
Gentlemen, in search of $1 million smile that'll make them take notice, really get their attention? Then get the mud. My Magic Mud. The fluoride-free whitener with no chemicals, additives, GMOs, or bad taste. And safe to swallow. My Magic Mud detoxifies, reduces sensitivity, cleans and strengthens your teeth while it whitens. Comes as a powder for pure whitening power. Start looking good for that special someone. Get the mud now. MyMagicMud.com.
We love that you're passionate about GCN. And whether you're a listener, a business owner, or a radio industry professional, we've redesigned the new GCN newsletter to keep you in the know. Text GCN Live to 22828 or click on the banner at GCNlive.com. Enter by May 15th. You'll qualify to win a 6-month supply of storable food from MyPatriotSupply.com. Start receiving your newsletter today. The future of talk radio. GCN.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. MineThings.com is a fun online game that pits you against people around the world to mine for scarce resources. Do business in a capitalist economy with virtually mined gold, tax-free. It doesn't require a big time commitment. Your little mining robot guy works whether you're logged in or not. It costs nothing to play, but you can buy bonuses. They even accept bitcoins. Go to MineThings.com, use coupon code FTL, and double your mining speed. It's free. MineThings.com.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
It's Free Talk Live. You may take control toll-free here at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype into the show at username LRN.FM. Hey, if you're enjoying Free Talk Live, you like what we're doing here on Free Talk Live, you may support the show by becoming an amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And what we do with that $5 is we'll invest it into Free Talk Live, get on more radio stations. Just announced a brand new station today, and we'll be welcoming them this weekend. They're a new weekend affiliate. But you can go to amp.freetalklive.com, amp up for $5 a month. Use any major credit card through PayPal, or use Visa or MasterCard right there on our website, amp.freetalklive.com. So you get perks too, by the way, when you're an amplifier. You get the amp-only call-in lines, the brand new amp-only Facebook group, which has been a pretty big deal. Lots of people post there every single day, which is very cool. Then there's also the amp-only forums and more. Go learn more and get signed up and help us out, because actually your AMP dollars get doubled. There's some generous contributors. For the next several months, they have pledged to double AMP contributions, new AMP contributions that come in, up to $950 a month. We still could raise a couple $100 a month this way with your help. So please go to amp.freetalklive.com for $5 a month. You can really help out Free Talk Live. That's amp.freetalklive.com. We go to the phones here, your calls and thoughts. We've got Tom in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Wow, that was fast. Anyway, I was just thinking, you know, it'd be really wicked funny is, let's say a couple of players on the Los Angeles Clippers decided to be fags, and they're going to get married to each other, and then the Catholic Church comes out with a statement that says that that's sinful and immoral, and then the owners and the league have to figure out, should they come out and lash out against Catholics, or would that be going league intolerant, or are
the
they
Catholics own any basketball franchises?
No, but some Catholic people go to these games, just like Donald Sterling has been attending, as until recently had the privilege of, if he wanted to, buying tickets and going to NBA games, and now that privilege of buying tickets and attending games has been revoked. So now, if they say, okay, now then they would have to decide, hold it, are we supposed to side with the people who don't like the queers, or are we supposed to side with the people that don't like the Catholics? Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I think it's this whole
sounds like a laugh a minute.
Sterling thing's a real mess, is what I think. And
this is the guy who...
The only adult in the room, including you, Tom, the only adult in the room is appears to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. His take on this, I thought, was really spot on. He said that, look, if we were going to go after Sterling for racial discrimination, we should have done that years ago when he was disallowing ethnic families from renting his apartments because he said that they stunk and they drew bugs. He said that what he's really concerned with is people's conversations being bugged, so that these salacious news organizations like TMZ can give book contracts and movie deals to Sterling's ex-girlfriend or whatever she is. So to me, I think that's the most prescient, insightful statement.
Well, my son told me that a reporter was commenting on this about Doc Rivers, the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, who, by the way, used to be the head coach of the Boston Celtics, and here he is, the head coach, and his owner just got banned from the NBA. Oops, you called him his owner. You call an African-American guy having an owner. That was a little, double meaning there, too. So I'm told he got in trouble, but just for accidentally calling the guy his owner.
Tom, thanks for your call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Whit, calling from Arizona. You're on Free Talk Live. Whit.
I'm glad to hear you have a change of heart, Ian.
When did I have a change of heart?
Well, I'll never forget when I called in near the end of a show on the 23rd of March, and you mentioned the caller had called in and mentioned me by name, and I asked you, interesting, what did he have to say? And then, because I took your recommendation, I checked out the archives of Free Talk Live, and I found out that this rambling question asked by a kid named AC was called, well, that's a great question. Hopefully somebody remembers to ask him that. It was only 2 hours before I talked to you, but what would be funny if AC would one of these days call in and re-ask his very convoluted question that you... It's too long for me to quote. It's very convoluted, but you called it a great question. But I find fascinating, Mark, this Bud's for you, Mark.
I'm listening, Whit.
I'm glad that you want to talk. It's funny, I also was branded that same week a religious bigot. You know, I'd never used
So,
the word
Whit,
Islam
you love
or
to
Muslim
reference
on
things
show.
in the past.
So let me
Whit,
speak,
He is
Mark.
living in the past.
Yes, listen,
Let me
Whit,
speak,
you
Mark.
love to reference things in the past, so let me reference something I said in the past. Whit, here's my recommendation on how to make an interesting call. Because your problem isn't
No,
that
I
you
wanna make it
wait a
interesting.
second, wait a
Don't
second.
interrupt me.
Whit, let me talk. The problem isn't that you disagree with us; it's that you're boring, Whit. You keep on referencing
I'm
things
not.
from the yes,
That's why
yes,
you
you
brought
are,
me up.
sir.
That's why you brought me up. I'm not
I put
boring.
you on the Facebook
Yeah, I'm
page
not boring.
and
last
asked
time.
everybody what they thought, and they said the first thing coming out of their mouth, man, was boring. And so
put
I
him
just
on
wanted
hold,
to
by
make
the way.
sure that you and I did not disagree on this. Here's my coaching advice for you on how to make a great radio call. Do not say I, me, my, or at least cut it out 90% of the time. Call in about an issue. Don't say I, me, my.
Well, I mean, some people are telling a story. It's totally fine to,
That's
to use
true.
the term
I'm
in that
giving
case.
Whit-
The problem with
Now-
Whit is he keeps talking about the same thing in the past over and over
Right,
again.
nobody knows what he's talking about.
So anyway, Whit, do you have anything new, anything fresh to bring to the table?
Well, yes, about speaking about religious bigotry. For instance, on the holiest day of my church's calendar, right out of the gate, somebody named Brian and this woman who called me a troll, so may I say that her Courtney Love's band, Hole, is what she reminds me of. That's what she is. They were laughing and making fun of Easter, and Mark, you had a nice belly laugh about it. And now, just previous to me, was a caller that's obviously a bigot against Catholics, because Catholics don't care if you're queer any more than they care if you're heterosexual. You're supposed to engage in sexual acts in matrimony, not outside of marriage. And yes, they
All
would
right, so you're
object
all
to
over the place. You talked about
Jack and
you've
Bill.
got at least you brought something new to the table
Mark,
here.
Mark,
Whit.
religious
You've talked
bigotry,
about now.
why
Hold
would
on,
you-
you're
what
just
is-
going to shouting your way through this isn't going to work. So, and by the way, your phone sounds terrible.
You know,
So-
the other solution I had for the Whit problem, and really, I mean, that's what I consider it. I mean, so boring, is that I was just going to give him like 30 seconds. Whit, say whatever the hell you're going to say. 30 seconds, go. And then, just let him talk about how we've treated him badly and we said this on this date and did that on that date and whatever.
Anyway, about the comments about Easter.
He's like an awful ex-girlfriend.
Mark, you weren't making fun of Easter, were you? It was,
I don't know.
Brian and
Don't
Stephanie.
people have a right to like disagree? I mean,
Well,
if
sure.
I don't like Easter, then can I say what's? I mean,
You
it
should be
depends.
able to make fun of whatever you want.
Did they have logical reasons for disliking Easter? Because I know I have some pretty logical reasons for disliking Easter.
Whit's back on. Go ahead, Whit.
Objective, this girl, Brian and Stephanie had fun in making fun of Ishtar as being like Easter and Ishtar, the same thing. They love making fun of religion. And again, I don't care if you make fun
So
of
do
me,
I.
Ian, just let me respond. But Brian and Stephanie, again, Mark laughed at their mocking the Christianity's holiest day of the year. And I don't care if you're a Christian or not, but it just seems to me that previous caller is a disgusting man who likes to make fun of Catholic Church, and you're all cool with it.
Well, I'm not
But
cool
all
with
I
what
said
Tom
was,
says half
I
the
got
time.
Muhammad is not his messenger, and I was branded a
You must be new to the show, Whit. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it. He just keeps going, doesn't he?
He's so awful.
A lot of times.
so awful. I mean, it's like, Whit, if you want to have
I don't
a
know how you
conversation,
put up with this
have a
person.
conversation.
Right. He doesn't want to have a
Seriously.
conversation. He just wants to call and
Right.
complain.
I didn't think that Tom's call was anti-Catholic. I felt like it was
he's
anti-gay. He laid down queers and fags, and Whit didn't have a thing to say about that.
That's because probably Whit's
people have been-
anti-gay.
Right. People have been discriminated against by Tom based on their sexual orientation, and Whit doesn't give a whit. You know?
Yeah.
So
He
there you go.
doesn't have any wit.
Now he's going to call and complain about you. Next week.
Oh, let him complain.
You know
I don't
that
care.
Lauren last week, she said something mean about me.
I don't
I mean,
care if
I
he
don't-
dislikes me. It doesn't bother me. There are plenty of people that dislike me. That's fine. I'm going to speak the truth. And if that's a problem for someone, they can stop listening to
I don't
me.
know who's worse, a Dave in New York or Whit in Arizona.
Dave
I
doesn't
really
call
don't-
anymore.
That's true. Dave.
I haven't heard Dave. I'm going with Wit.
We'll come back with more here in moments. Hour number 3 is on the way.
Call in about anything. Be as disparaging to us as you want. Be interesting. Have a conversation.
All right, so you can take control here and bring up anything you want. Public radio is for moochers. That's what Lauren is going to tell us about here in moments. Hour number 3 coming up next on Free Talk Live. Ross Ulbricht was arrested by the FBI in 2013 and charged with victimless crimes in relation to allegedly operating the Bitcoin-based Silk Road black market. He has been in a prison cell awaiting trial ever since. If he did it, he's a hero for making the black market a safer place. If he did not, he's a man wrongfully accused. Either way, if you love freedom and want to end the war on drugs, Ross and his family need your support. You can learn more and help fund his defense at freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
There's a treasure hunt going on at mathgate.info, a Bitcoin treasure hunt. You can find Bitcoins by proving theorems. So, learn some logic, do some math, find some Bitcoins. Even better, mathgate.info is designed to be used anonymously. So, connect to mathgate.info through Tor, prove some theorems, find some anonymous Bitcoins. Don't wait, others are already searching for the Bitcoins. Go to mathgate.info today and join the treasure hunt. There are anonymous Bitcoins to be had for the taking at mathgate.info.
Shiny badges on your jacket. Shiny badges start a conversation with your neighbor or your doctor or your family or your school. Now there's teachers and lawyers and business executives, and they all wear shiny badges and they all reject the state. Shiny badges on your jacket. Shiny badges show the world that you reject coercion and aggression and oppression by the state. ShinyBadges.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You're listening to the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates online at thelibertybeat.com. This is Justin Armand.
And this is Jessica Armand.
Here with your Liberty Beat for May 1st, 2014.
Gold opened today at $1,296, silver at $19.44, and Bitcoin is trading at $448.
Support for the Liberty Beat comes from Accountable Authority, now offering a public database of police abuse and misconduct. Take action and join free to gain community support and protection. Online at accountableauthority.com. And from Affordable Sound, CD and DVD duplication along with posters and promotional materials online at affordablesound.com, or give them a call at 512-459-5253. And now this news.
The UN's World Health Organization is warning that antibiotic-resistant superbugs are no longer a prediction, but a reality, and are threatening the health of many across the world. The World Health Organization's first global report on the matter discovered the superbugs were able to evade even the strongest antibiotics. At least 10 countries are already experiencing an antibiotic-resistant form of gonorrhea, a dangerous sexually transmitted disease. Analysts say it's a race against time to develop drugs capable of fighting the quickly evolving superbugs. The Commerce Department said Wednesday that growth in the U.S. economy during the first 3 months of 2014 slowed drastically. Some analysts are attributing the decline in economic activity, which has slowed since the end of 2012, to a long, harsh winter. The residential construction industry took a big hit, falling by 5.7%. Business development fell 2.1%, and spending on equipment plunged 5.5%. Experts believe it'll bounce back after the arrival of summer and warm weather.
A recent LA Times report found that over 4% of those sentenced to death row are innocent. The report, published Monday by the National Academy of Sciences, came to their conclusion using what researchers call a survival analysis mathematical model. The longer a person stayed on death row, the higher the chance that he or she would be exonerated. Furthermore, the researchers calculated that if all of those sentenced to death were kept on death row indefinitely, without being executed, receiving a life sentence, or dying of another cause, at least 4.1% would eventually be exonerated. In the latest death row controversy, Oklahoma officials were forced to call off an execution after the series of a 3-drug cocktail failed to work correctly. Officials investigating the botched job say the inmate died of a heart attack.
Support for the Liberty Beat comes from My Magic Mud All-Natural Teeth Whitener. Go to mymagicmud.com to hear a short interview with Dr. Griffin Cole. That's mymagicmud.com. And from Brave New Books, online at bravenewbookstore.com. And from Voice and Exit, maximizing human flourishing through radical innovation. Tickets on sale now. Get 10% off with promo code FREEDOM. June 21st at Austin Music Hall. Get yours at voiceandexit.com. You're listening to the Liberty Beat for May 1st, 2014. Be sure to check out the website at thelibertybeat.com. 2 students at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have raised enough money to give $100 worth of Bitcoin to the graduating class of 2014. Jeremy Rubin and Dan Elitzer raised $500,000 through funding from MIT alumni that will cover the distribution of the cryptocurrency to all 4,528 undergraduates. The team says they hope to create a Bitcoin ecosystem and encourage students to launch new applications for the digital currency.
According to a recently declassified order, the Federal Intelligence Surveillance Court has dismissed Verizon's legal challenge to the NSA's bulk data collection program. Despite the order being heavily redacted, the Washington Post has reported that Verizon is the unnamed company listed in the legal challenge. Judge Rosemary Collier made a ruling in March rejecting Verizon's petition and affirming the United States government's ability to collect and store Americans' phone records. This ruling overturns a December decision by U.S. District Judge Richard Leone, who found the NSA program to be an invasion of U.S. citizens' privacy.
Support for the Liberty Beat comes from Mass Appeal Printing, your source for anything printed since 1972. Now accepting Bitcoin. Online at massappealinc.com.
You've been listening to the Liberty Beat. Remember, freeing your mind is freeing our world.
Zoo visitors watch the mating rituals of the ice cream shop staff, and a serious coworker puts on headphones to focus on his sandwich. Happiness is perpetually fleeting, so try to savor the next few minutes before it disappears once again. This is the Onion Week in Review. FBI officials announced they just can't bring themselves to bust a man who recently downloaded every season of the 1990s television show Picket Fences from a BitTorrent website. While stressing that pirating copyrighted material is strictly illegal, federal authorities expressed their sympathy for the man and claimed that perhaps the story of Sheriff Jimmy Brock and the strange events in a small Wisconsin town is all he has left to cling to.
We have more than enough evidence to bust him for piracy, but if the poor guy really wants to watch all 4 seasons of a 20-year-old CBS drama that nobody remembers, he's clearly going through a pretty big rough patch right now. And frankly, we don't need to make it any worse.
For statistical purposes, we have seized all private data from your personal computer, and we are disgusted with your recent internet search history. You sick f***. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
And this is Free Talk Live. We're kicking off the third hour of the program. We'll take your calls about anything you want here at 855-453. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us online. Just go to freetalklive.com. You can create the content there on our website. What you see on the front page was put there by listeners just like you, voted upon by listeners like you. Go to freetalklive.com. You can get interactive there. So our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I'm getting some strange kind of talk back. I'm not sure.
Yes, you are.
Where it's coming from. Oh, I know where it's coming from.
It's coming from your
Skype.
head.
It's coming from Skype because we've got Liberty Phoenix on the line in Illinois. Phoenix, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, evening, guys. I love giving you guys this strange little feedback.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's not your fault. It's Ian. He should know which buttons to push.
That makes sense. Well, it's kind of ironic that there would be an issue with that because I wanted to call today to say, I've been listening to you guys since about November, and I call in chronically. I suppose I could take that label. And you guys have really kind of inspired me. I mean, I love the topics that you guys cover. It's whenever you guys say something, it really makes me think, I got an opinion about that, and I want to kind of throw it out there into the ether. And I've wanted to know if I could do a shameless little plug, because you guys have inspired me to kind of start my own little podcast thing.
Oh, cool. What are you doing?
Well, this Saturday, I'm going to be going to the local vaping store in Aurora, Illinois. It's called High Tech Vapors, and I'm going to do an interview with the guy. And that's going to be the first little show for my Phoenix Rising Bambuser podcast, I suppose, would be the best little
You're using
term
Bambuser, which is a streaming service for listeners that may recall, we've recommended certain services for your smartphone. Bambuser is a smartphone app that you can install on most smartphones that will allow you to stream video live to the internet. So they're particularly useful for, if you see the cops abusing somebody, you pull out your phone, you start the Bambuser app, and you can record and stream. So you're recording to your phone and you're streaming online. So you're going to do a show on Bambuser?
Ian, you have the
In the
best
beginning.
salesman voice.
Thanks.
Ever.
In the very beginning, I listened to an interview that you had with Ernie Hancock about how to start up a radio program, and I downloaded the I believe it was the Zora program, Zora Radio, or Zaza Radio.
Zara Radio is it's a radio automation system.
Yeah, I downloaded that. I'm still trying to feel my way around it. I'm a lot more comfortable with Bambuser, so once I'm actually comfortable with that medium, I'm going to transfer it over to that. But I'm literally right now in the process of moving a bunch of stuff in my basement and making room for a studio. And I wanted to get your guys' experience on what are some of the major things that an individual who wants to start creating content should try to avoid.
Ooh, that's a good question. Normally, the question is what do I do to start doing a show, not what do I do to screw it up? How will I screw this up, and what should I do to not do those things? That's an interesting question.
I would say that the most important things seem to be audio quality.
Don't go on Blog Talk Radio. That's one I would recommend.
Just can't tolerate bad audio, and the levels and things like that need to be good so that people can understand what you're saying. That's really, really important. Also, I would do my best, and no one's good at this, but I would do my best to avoid the ums, the ahs, the
verbal crutches, as they're called.
You know what I'm sayings, and all the other verbal crutches.
I just edit those out of my videos.
It'll keep you busy.
Now, Lauren, you're relatively new at doing
cheating.
podcasts, right? When did you start doing your own show?
I started doing Objectivist Girl when, November?
So pretty new then.
Oh, yeah, it's really new.
6 months or so. Did you learn any hard lessons? Were there certain things that you did that you look back and you say, I should have done that differently?
Put down the script and just be honest. I mean, that's what I've been trying to do more. And I wish I had started out that way because there's a lot of videos that I look at and want to re-record. But the thing is that the best advice I can give to you is just to really speak from the heart because people respect that. And people think that's awesome. People want to hear what you actually think, not what you wrote down on a piece of paper.
And every show is practice for the next show.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not... You get
Don't
all caught...
beat yourself up if you do a bad job.
Or
who cares?
You're always going to be getting better. I mean, that's...
Right.
I listen to shows from some, years ago or whatever, and I think to myself, what the heck was I saying there? And, your opinion's going to change over time. That is natural. All you have to be is compelling. And that's really what the trick is.
The compelling. All right. That's what I'll need to look for then.
How do you being compelling is like being, it's be interesting, be funny.
Well, yeah, you have to be
difficult.
passionate usually about what you're talking about or interested in what you're talking about. Phoenix, any other questions or thoughts?
No, I think that'll cover it for right now, guys.
So what's
Thanks
the
a
name
lot.
of your new show? What is it called?
It's gonna be. The podcast is gonna be Phoenix Rising.
Of course.
And then when I do actually get the radio up and running, I'm just gonna call it the Phoenix Rising Radio, something to that effect.
Good
I
luck.
really think that epitomizes, the liberty movement, because we can't start a voluntary society until this one dies. The state has to die in order for us to actually rise from the ashes, like the Phoenix of Liberty that we all are.
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, and good luck with your program. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Nathan. He's in Texas, also on Skype. Nathan, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Lauren, and Mark.
Hi guys. I'm
Hey.
just glad that Liberty Phoenix is getting his own show, so he won't be the third guy after Whit and Dave from New York.
Oh, are you saying he's been calling too much? I mean, you call as
I
often as he
wouldn't
does.
I wouldn't put him remotely in that category.
You call as often as he does, but go ahead, Nathan.
Well, I had a fun little math story to lighten the mood a little bit. There was do you all know the physicist named Feynman?
Who?
Feynman?
Richard Feynman?
No.
Okay, well then I won't give any backstory. But he had this fun little story where he was in Brazil and a guy came into the restaurant selling abacuses, those little things with the beads that let you do calculations really fast.
Old
And he challenged him to a little contest. And first they did addition, and the guy with the abacus beat him. And then they did multiplication, and the guy with the abacus beat him, but just by a little bit. And then they did division, and it was a tie. So his response to that was to challenge him to find cube roots. And he still remembers apparently the number that the guy came up with, 1729.03. And while the guy was sitting there chugging away and straining and doing all sorts of complicated calculations, Feynman was able to do it all in his head and came up with the right answer. So I thought that was a nice little story. What?
Wasn't that supposed to be like a funny story or a joke to lighten the mood?
Yeah, it's really funny because the guy with the abacus wasn't able to do because the harder the problem, the easier it was for the guy to do in his head.
Yeah. There's probably 5 dorks in our audience that really understood whatever the joke was there, but then I'm afraid it went over my head. Thanks, Nathan, for your call.
I love how flat-footed Ian is on it. He's like, what just happened?
All right, let's go to Kevin. He's in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Kevin. Kevin in New Jersey. Going once. Kevin.
Can you hear me?
We got you. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was just calling about the Airbnb situation going on in New York. Are you familiar with it?
The what situation?
Airbnb.
Airbnb, as in bread and breakfast. The way you can find a place to crash online. There's like some app or whatever. Yeah, what about it?
Well, New York is holding some meetings, the legislature or whatever, to rule against it. And I actually work at a hotel in Manhattan. And our union is very unhappy about this. So it's just interesting to see how...
Wait, just to clarify, the hotel union is against the Airbnb, or they're unhappy about the persecution of the Airbnb?
They're unhappy with Airbnb because it's people not staying in hotels that they would be working at. Or,
it's competition.
Giving them work. Right.
It's competition for the business.
They're getting the support of the local 6 union members.
Of course they are.
To stand against this. And,
yeah, we got to put a stop to these people sharing their rooms with people.
Are they going to take that big inflatable rubber rat and go outside of people's houses that are sharing their homes with people?
Yeah, I've seen that thing. Kevin, I don't know if you have more to say, but thank you. We'll put you on hold if you do. You're welcome to come back. Tell us more about that situation, what the union people are saying. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is like it's an app where you can find a place to stay with people, and they, feed you, and you crash on their couch or in their guest room. I mean, it's a cool thing. Of course, it's competition for the hotel, so it must be stopped.
All right, hold on. We got to interrupt the regularly scheduled stuff for just a minute. I've got to tell you about this because it's weird. It'll make sense. What if I told you that eating this one weird spice could actually help you reverse diabetes? I know, it's crazy, right? Well, if you or somebody you care about has diabetes or pre-diabetes or easy for me to say, metabolic syndrome, you've got to check out this video. It's free. You may have heard about this. People who've tried it say that they've been able to normalize their blood sugar, stop taking their diabetes meds, and their doctors are all for it. So what is it? What's behind this? Well, the company says it's a natural, drug-free approach to reversing diabetes, and they say that it works in as little as 4 weeks, and it all starts with this one weird kitchen spice you probably have in your kitchen right now. So you should check out the free video and see for yourself. It's at WeirdSpice55.com. So write that down. It's WeirdSpice55.com. WeirdSpice55.com.
Gold isn't for you? Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources, one of the world's premier gold and precious metal investing firms. I get it. You wouldn't buy gold if you believed that the government is doing a great job, that the Fed will stop handing out trillions of dollars like bailout candy, that Social Security would be there for you. That's not what's happening. You might even pass on gold if the stimulus package wouldn't fuel inflation, or that the dollar wouldn't lose value, or that your retirement would be secure. If all looks rosy to you, then now is not the time to buy gold. For the realist, there have never been more sobering reasons to diversify with gold. Since 2001, the U.S. dollar index has tanked 30% while gold has risen 300%. Right now, savvy investors are adding gold to their portfolios. You should too. Find out what they know. Call us and I'll send you 10 reasons why gold will do very well, free. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
Immigrating to the Shire was easy. I was instantly plugged into a community of individuals who also care about peace, liberty, and justice and are willing to do something about it.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Do you love coffee as much as I love coffee? Here's a delicious way to drink the best of the best coffee and make a difference one cup at a time. We've partnered with Camano Island Coffee Roasters to offer BuzzBox Coffee. And you can try a pound for free. All you do is cover shipping. It's organic, shade-grown, top 1% Arabica grade. 10% of future purchases help our efforts to give the gift of human freedom through at least 100 microloans via World Vision. For more information, go to coffee.freetalklive.com.
You can interact with other LRN listeners in our message board at forum.lrn.fm. That's forum.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, inviting you here to take control of the airwaves, toll free, 855-450-FREE. Coming up, public radio is for moochers. That's what Lauren's going to tell us about. You can join us on the phones, 855-450-FREE. Also, we've got Skype on into the show. Username there, LRN.FM. Don't forget, you can join us online at freetalklive.com. Also, online is a heck of a deal for your Mother's Day present that you've been thinking about. What are you going to get Mom this year? You know, you could do some sort of teddy bear or whatever, but that's lame. I think that things you can eat are really some of the best gifts you can possibly give to somebody, especially delicious things that you can eat that are just mouth-watering, fresh, and juicy. I'm talking about chocolate-covered strawberries from Sherry's Berries. We have had the Sherry's Berries here on Free Talk Live, and they are fantastic. It's just an incredible experience. They're so, I mean, it seems clearly very gourmet quality. Like the chocolate's very, very good. The berries are just the best possible. Like these are A+ grade. I don't know if they grade berries, but they must because they're not using low quality berries in these things at all. You can get giant freshly dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries in different flavors, white milk and dark chocolate. They're coated with chocolate chips, decorative swizzle, or nuts. You can do it by using our code at berries.com. The code is FTL. You just click the microphone in the top right corner of the website, and you'll get An order of Sherry's berries starting at just $19.99. You can double the berries for just $10. I recommend the double berries. You're not going to want to just have a few. You're going to want to have more than a few. And Sherry's berries will be delicious. You will be satisfied, and Mom will love it. In fact, if your mom doesn't live near you, you probably want to order one for yourself just so you can know what she's experiencing. So berries.com, click the microphone in the top right, type in FTL to get the special deal. This deal, by the way, expires tomorrow, Friday night at midnight. So don't wait. Get your shipment scheduled. You can choose the day you want it delivered. There's different shipping prices based on the days that you want it shipped. And again, berries.com, code FTL to get the deal. So our number tonight, 855-450-FREE. We've got on the line, or not on the line, the gentleman who was on the line dropped off, but he was talking about the AirBnB, which is it's a company that helps hook people up who are looking for a room, someplace to stay. If they're coming into if you're coming into town, wherever town is, and you don't want to stay at a hotel, you want to get treated a little bit nicer, maybe have a different kind of a surroundings, maybe come and live at somebody's house. That's what Airbnb, as I understand it. I've never used the app, but that's what it does. It's kind of like the Uber app for houses. Uber being an app that helps you find a ride somewhere. Airbnb is an app that helps you find a place to stay.
Great app too.
Which one?
Uber.
Uber. You've done Uber?
Uber's awesome. I couldn't even believe it. We went on this trip to I went to where did I go?
Usually it's big cities.
I just go to like all these places now that I can't even remember where I went. For training for Americans for Prosperity. And so
where was it? DC?
Yeah, no, it wasn't DC. It was Boston.
Okay.
So we went to Boston, and they were and we got shuttled around and in using Uber, and that was the first time I'd ever seen anybody use it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I've heard their cars are real nice.
Yeah, they are.
And I heard it's cheaper than taking a taxi somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's why the taxi companies are on the attack.
That's the problem.
And now the hotels are on the attack against Airbnb.
Yeah, let's make sure that we ban all the light bulbs because the candle makers might go out of business.
This is how it works, though. And
Anthem.
We'll keep you in the loop as far as if we hear more about that. You're welcome to join us here at 855-450-FREE.
You know, when we went to New York, we saw this dispute with the hotel union or whatever there.
Where they had the big rat.
Yeah, and it's been...
Because of bedbugs. There were bedbugs.
Well, no. That's what they were claiming.
Bedbugs are for life.
When you listen to them talk, they were claiming that they were in a dispute with the hotel.
Yeah.
So they were holding signs claiming the hotel had bedbugs.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of dirty pool that these people play.
So you think that the hotel did not have bedbugs?
We stayed at the hotel, right?
No, it was a different hotel, I think.
No, that was the hotel
were we
were
at that
in.
Hotel?
Yes.
Okay.
No bedbugs.
Oh my God, stay away from me.
Well, maybe there's no
Those things
bedbugs.
are for freaking
They're
life.
awful, and that's why
they're for life.
And that's why they threaten people with them. You know, like, hey, you don't want to stay here with bedbugs, but you can't trust them because they're telling lies.
Seriously, guys, don't take bedbugs lightly. Like if they say
Sounds awful.
that there might be bedbugs in a place, you should not stay there. Seriously, they ruin your life. That's what they do. They ruin your life.
It
you
was
have
4
to
years ago.
burn your
5
house
years ago.
down to get rid of them.
I saw an episode of Hoarders where people were, they were hoarding, and it was getting so bad that they started to have a bedbug problem.
Ugh.
And it was so gross. And
It's disgusting.
The guy thought that, I don't know anything about bedbugs. Apparently, he didn't bother to research. He thought that he could just move out of the house for a period of time and that they would
Come
die.
back.
No.
That the bedbugs would die. These
No.
things live for months and months and
And
months
they
without
lay
eating
eggs.
anything.
I guess you just have to fumigate, right?
Well, yeah, but he couldn't fumigate because he had all this crap in there due to
I
being
don't think
a hoarder.
you can fumigate them away. I think you
could.
have to burn your sheets.
No, there was. I mean, you probably
Oh,
should.
yeah.
You probably should burn your sheets. But as far as like treating the whole house, there is a treatment for it. But in this case, they had to clean out most of the house because it was piled full of crap, and whatever fumigation technique they would have would not have been effective with
And
piles
even
and piles of junk.
if you were just to move, they come with you in your clothes.
No, they can get
Have
in
you
your luggage.
experienced this?
No, but
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I
They're
know
horrifying.
people that have, and I'm seeing, unfortunately, someone has shown me a picture of what they actually look like under a microscope.
Scary, right? Like
and
a monster?
it is a monster. And I've got a thing about bugs. I'm not afraid of most things. I'm not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of snakes. I like snakes. I'm really not afraid of anything, but
bedbugs, yes.
The idea of something that I can't see touching me just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like the idea of something that could be on me right now.
You can't
freaks
see
me out.
bedbugs?
No, you can't. They
have some kind of bug
them.
you
They're
could
little
see.
black dots. You can actually check for them by rolling up. Yeah, Free Talk Live is now just how to find bed bugs. So you roll up the corners of your sheet and you look there, and if there are black bugs, they're little dots. They're little black bugs. But seriously, if you put them under a microscope, they are absolutely horrifying. They will make you vomit. Like the fact that,
I think my dad
topic.
He either put a tick or a flea, I forget which one it was, under a microscope, and it really did look like some sort of monster.
They look like monsters.
Crazy.
Oh my God. They're so scary. They're terrifying.
So anyway, 855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number. We're going to talk
Sound
about
like a little
public
girl right now.
radio being for moochers. That's the story that you brought in tonight, Lauren, to discuss. And you said this is coming from Reason.com.
Yeah, Reason.com. So the title is Public Radio is for moochers, and PR listeners should pay what they owe.
Oh, well, that seems, I mean, obviously you barely even scratched the surface here, but I thought NPR listeners do pay.
This is pretty much like the funniest article I've ever read. I love the language.
All right. So it better make it to the level that you've set for it now here. So hang on, we're gonna give you the full story here in moments. Woo! And Lauren's built it up, so hopefully it'll meet your expectations. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we like talking about radio here on Free Talk Live. We haven't talked about radio stuff in a little while, so public radio. We'll come back to that. Your call's welcome. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live. You can take control.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, listen carefully. Sweeping changes to IRS policies will help more people than ever eliminate their tax debts once and for all. And now I can help you reduce or eliminate your tax debts and end your tax nightmare. Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I've helped thousands of people reduce and eliminate tax debts they couldn't pay. And after more than 30 years of experience dealing with the IRS, I can tell you there's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. And with the IRS's new policies, it's easier than ever to put your tax debt behind you once and for all. Call now at 800-346-6829 to learn how I can help you. You know your IRS debt will not go away by itself, but you don't have to live in fear anymore. Call 800-346-6829. Learn how I can help you eliminate wage and bank levies, release tax liens, and negotiate a settlement with the IRS that will put your tax nightmare behind you forever. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to taxhelponline.com. That's taxhelponline.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Meowbit is free software from the Freedom Fiends that allows you to effortlessly view .bit websites. Meowbit works on all browsers. .bit is a new type of web address that's not controlled by any government or corporation. And we'll show you how to register a .bit domain today using a few cents worth of Namecoin. If anyone ever shuts down your .com website, users will still be able to get to your site using your .bit address in our free software, Meowbit. Go to meowbit.com. That's meowbit.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love. But make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want right here toll free. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight in the studio, it's Ian here.
And Lauren.
And Mark.
All right, we're going to continue here. If you make a call, we'll bring you on the air. You can talk about anything. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. Meanwhile, we'll be talking about public radio, and we'll get into that here in a moment.
Not many news sources are going to tell you how to get Bitcoins. Now, admittedly, Bloomberg has Bitcoins now on, I guess, their ticker or whatever. But not many of them are going to educate you on how to get Bitcoins. There's an easy way to get Bitcoins. You go to cashintocoins.com, and they pretty much handle it from there. It's easy, safe, fast, completely legal. Their fees are inexpensive. They have great customer service. But basically, you can use a money order, a check, or a wire transfer to send money to cashintocoins.com, and they will send you Bitcoins to your Bitcoin address. I've done a great deal of business with cashintocoins.com. They're trustworthy folks. Now, they've got a big announcement that's coming up in the very near future here that I'm very excited about. Orders under $40 carry no fee. They want you to get into Bitcoins. They want you to try it out. They want you to get some Bitcoin in your possession, and that's why they let you do a small transaction for free. Cashintocoins.com.
It's amazing. Great service. All right, so back to the story here that, Lauren, you just scratched the surface of about public radio. Tell me more about that. It's Reason.com saying it's for moochers.
So it's called Public Radio is for moochers. NPR listeners should pay what they owe.
All right.
Okay, so it starts out, spring is here, which can mean only one thing, torture. You might know it by its more familiar name, the Public Radio Pledge Drive. The Pledge Drive resembles Chinese water torture. It starts out as a minor irritant, but it continues hour after hour and day after day, growing first uncomfortable and then agonizing.
Yeah.
By the end of it, its even hardened commandos are reduced to blubbering, mucus-sniffling Rex begging someone to make it stop. Please, just make it stop.
No, I don't have any experience with this I don't listen to the government radio.
Oh, it just gets better.
So, I mean, Mark, you're a listener of the NPR, right?
I do generally listen to NPR. It's either that or, commercial talk. And some of that I like and some of that I don't like.
So have you heard these pledge drives?
Yes.
I remember seeing it.
They're great.
I remember seeing them on PBS on television as a kid.
That's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
And, they get the staff out there to beg for money until they get it.
That's what it says next, actually. It says, if the pledge drive is hard on listeners, one can only imagine how excruciating it must be for public radio employees. For days on end, they are forced to say the same things over and over until they start to crack. You can tell when that happens. They start telling tepid jokes that elicit forced, slightly hysterical laughter from the other on-air personalities. Then comes the singing and the skits and the madcap antics. Don't the Geneva Convention? Doesn't the Geneva Convention prohibit this?
I haven't seen the skits and the singing has not gone on my local public radio, but I do think I recall that from PBS back when they did their fundraisers when I was a kid. But I don't listen to, I don't watch PBS.
Yeah, I remember they had
TV.
like the performers and the phone bank and the volunteers over there answering your calls and taking money from people.
But I figure that if I use the product, that I should support the product. So
it's not the best. I actually used to give money to a public radio station in Tampa once upon a time. I think I only gave them money once, but technically I did because they had some good shows on that I actually listened to. So I sent them some money. So what's wrong with this? I mean, look, it seems to work, Lauren. I guess we'll continue with the story.
Because public radio listeners are moochers. Brazen, shameless, welfare kings and queens, sponging off the generosity of others.
Yep.
Not all of them, mind you. A small percentage contribute. Even smaller number do so with great generosity. But the vast majority are, how to put this gently, good-for-nothing, deadbeat, leeching, parasitic, freeloading scroungers.
Oh, that's not very nice. I mean, we've got a lot of people that listen to Free Talk Live for free, and that's totally fine.
Wait a minute.
We want people to hear the show.
Did you think that I was nice? This is a major issue.
You didn't write this article, but you certainly are reveling in it.
I find great joy in this article.
Well, wait, are you going to say that Free Talk Live's listeners are also mooches? I mean, they get the show for free.
I actually disagree with this entire opinion, but I think it's funny that they have this opinion.
Well, we give the show away for free intentionally, and we don't ask people to support the show.
Sure we do. We've got the AMP program.
The AMP program's different. What we ask people to do with the AMP program is to help us do what we want to do, which is to spread the ideas of liberty.
We're still supporting the show.
Wait a second. No, it's not, Ian. Hold on. The fact is, it's not. We're going to do free. Ian, would you do Free Talk Live if it was not on any radio stations?
Probably.
There you go.
Yeah, you would.
So
just like I do.
That.
I've done
We have.
Objectivist Girls since the moment nobody cared about it. In fact, I got more insults to start out with than I got people telling me it was a great idea and it was a great thing that I was doing. And that encouragement is great, but ultimately I do it because the idea of freedom, like I want to live in the kind of society where people know the information that I'm spreading and it's totally worth the value judgment. And that's it, just it. I tell my listeners that what would be great is they donate and I have more time to dedicate to doing this. So if you really love it, give me money so that I have
only
more
a portion
time.
of the listeners will ever donate. And there are various reasons why people do and don't. And, everybody's got their reasons. And
the funny thing is the NPR has started this campaign where they call people up and ask them why they listen but don't support NPR.
How would they find out the phone number?
That's a horrible strategy.
They have their friends snitch on them.
Wow,
it's like it's like the voter thing that they do. They go around, like a lot of these organizations go around and they're like, yeah, we hear you don't vote. Did you know that you're unpatriotic?
Right.
Did you know that because you don't vote, such and such didn't get this money?
Wait a
and
second.
they died. And they died. And you're a horrible person.
I would
because this
love to
person
get this
died.
call because I would love to get this call because the person on the other end of the phone can't do math. My vote has almost never made a difference. You have
killed someone, Mark.
Local voting.
You have
can
to
make a
win by
difference.
one vote for it to
You're
have
a
mattered.
murderer, Mark.
That's what it's about.
Let's get back
Ian,
into the story.
do you vote or are you a murderer?
I do vote.
That's a horrible thing. I'm sorry.
We can talk about that another night.
What a
There's
waste.
plenty of time to talk about voting. Actually, I disagree because there are votes in New Hampshire where people have won by one vote. In fact, an anarchist, Tim O'Flaherty, won by one vote.
Oh,
in
no.
Manchester.
By all means, vote in the small elections. But as far as the
federal
bigger
government, I don't
elections,
care.
you're wasting
No,
your
I
time.
don't care about the feds.
But don't shame other people about not voting. Like, this is the thing. I don't believe you should shame people about voting or about not voting. If people want to do their own sort of economics in their head and say that voting is what they want to do with their time and energy, cool.
I find that
Fine.
if an anarchist votes, it's like saying it's okay that there are people running my life.
No, that's not what it is.
That's
at all.
total consent.
I don't know what an anarchist is.
It's consent.
It is a well, it's not.
No, it's not. It's defense.
On what?
I've never voted
where on
a
the
day in
voting
my
form?
life.
Where on the voting form does it say I consent to the outcome of here?
It doesn't.
That's like saying I went into a gunfight and I consent to get shot. It doesn't mean that. It means that you're trying to defend yourself.
I'm trying to defend
Lysander
myself.
Spooner, the father of what American anarchism, says that voting is self-defense.
All right, so we could talk about the voting thing another night. There's plenty of nights to talk about voting. So, Lauren, let's continue with this article here from Reason, because I want to hear what the point is. Because you said you actually disagree with this article.
I do,
All right,
actually, but it's still funny. True, most public radio stations benefit from government subsidies, either directly or indirectly, and they shouldn't. We shouldn't have government radio any more than we should have government newspapers or government television. But then taxpayers' financing makes up only a thin slice of most stations' revenue pie charts. The wish to make the slice even thinner is an argument for more voluntary contributions, not less.
Right, and this is the point. I've heard numbers between 3% and 15% of public radio is funded by government.
10%.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, you pick a number between 3 and 15, one that makes you happy. And if it's a larger number, I'd love to see the citation for the source. That this is the amount of funding that they get. Is all they have to do is, cut the government funding and say, hey, the government cut our funding. You've got to give us more listeners. And they'll
extend the pledge drive a day. You'll be all set. So we'll come back with more here in a moment. 855-450-FREE. Your thoughts on public radio. Maybe you've got some experience either working for them or listening to them or giving money to them. You can take control here on Free Talk Live.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to begin? Do you fear your job is in jeopardy, or is your business income reduction keeping you awake at night? We're in the best time in 25 years to make a fortune in real estate without using your money or credit. My name is Ron LeGrand, and I've taught 500,000 people to do just that and personally bought hundreds of houses myself. If you'll call 800-970-6156, 24 hours, and leave your information, I'll send you the first 500 callers my hot new CD, Foreclosure Fortunes, and my best-selling book to help you get started absolutely free. I'll show you how to build a six-figure income part-time with no previous experience and no license, even if you're a busy professional. Call 800-970-6156, 24 hours, and get my new book and CD free. That's 800-970-6156. Take your life back and make this your best year ever. Call 800-970-6156 now.
Gentlemen, in search of $1 million smile that'll make them take notice, really get their attention? Then get the mud. My Magic Mud. The fluoride-free whitener with no chemicals, additives, GMOs, or bad taste. And safe to swallow. My Magic Mud detoxifies, reduces sensitivity, cleans and strengthens your teeth while it whitens. Comes as a powder for pure whitening power. Start looking good for that special someone. Get the mud now. MyMagicMud.com.
I'm a very bad man. And today I watched you leave for work. Then I kicked your door and took your stuff. Without a door devil reinforcing your door frame, it was like you invited me. Don't worry, I'll check back in a couple weeks. Once you've got new stuff.
Door devils are available at participating Ace Hardware stores and locksmiths. Or visit doordevil.com.
Free Talk Live.
We're talking about piracy.
The Barbary pirates were attacking American merchant ships and taking the sailors into slavery.
Yep.
Which is a little worse than conscribing them like England was. England was just making them, do a little bit of work. It certainly was slavery, but to a much lesser extent.
Did they get the doubloons? That's what I want. Avast.
When somebody from the Sudan takes you into slavery, you're in slavery.
Yeah.
That's slavery in its rawest sense.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent over the Navy in order,
Well, that's the risk you take on the high seas.
Trying to think, this famous American pirate, but I can't remember his name offhand.
Blackbeard.
Now
Redbeard.
No.
Goldbeard. Maroonbeard.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308. Ross Ulbricht was arrested by the FBI in 2013 and charged with victimless crimes in relation to allegedly operating the Bitcoin-based Silk Road black market. He has been in a prison cell awaiting trial ever since. If he did it, he's a hero for making the black market a safer place. If he did not, he's a man wrongfully accused. Either way, if you love freedom and want to end the war on drugs, Ross and his family need your support. You can learn more and help fund his defense at freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want by dialing toll-free here in these remaining moments. Enough time for you and your thoughts at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Skype on into the show. Username there is lrn.fm. And with you tonight, it's Ian here.
And Lauren, Objectivist Girl.
And Mark.
Don't forget, you can visit Lauren on her website, objectivistgirl.com. Also, page on Facebook called Objectivist Girl.
Page on Facebook is definitely the better way.
For those of you who are on Facebook, but not everybody is.
Everything ends up on that Facebook page. Like stuff that won't end up on the website ends up on the Facebook page.
So you brought in the story from Reason.com tonight about public radio, their awful fundraisers, and the author at Reason is saying that the public radio listeners, by and large, are moochers. And I don't think that's very nice, but there's more that he has to say, or she, I'm not sure who it is.
So not only are they moochers and these drives are awful, but also true, NPR's slant can be almost insufferable. To listen to NPR is to enter a world in which government regulation is always too lax, never too strict. It is a world populated by supporters of abortion rights on one side and the gun lobby on the other. A world in which Tea Party types are reported on, but the same worried curiosity a microbiologist might show towards a deadly new pathogen. In the NPR world, rapacious. Oh, yeah, rapacious. Corporate interests by elections. I don't often run into a new word.
Well, there you got a new one.
There you go. While unions and environmental groups struggle to make their voices heard, no NPR broadcast is complete without at least one story about racial, gender, or economic inequality, and preferably several. Concepts such as liberty, meanwhile, are afterthoughts at best. Nobody tunes into NPR to hear liberal priorities and perspectives challenged. And yet it does some truly splendid reporting. Besides, if the slant gets to be too much, you can always change the station. Many public radio fans, however, wouldn't listen to anything else, either because they like the slant or in spite of it.
Public radio in a lot of markets does very, very well. Mm-hmm. And one of the things is that I guess Arbitron, which is the, I guess they're now Nielsen, the TV ratings company, bought the big ratings company, Arbitron, so now it's Nielsen Audio. But I don't know in how many markets they actually rate the NPR stations, because you have to pay to get ratings. But I have seen that in some markets
back in the day
they
didn't have to, but I have seen the ratings for in Tampa,
and they kick butt, right?
Like they did really well. But you're right. I think now that the stations that don't they do generally well everywhere.
I mean, this is
I think the reason is because commercial radio, one thing it does great is it gives you constant, unique content, and it gives an opportunity for people to express their opinions, whether it's the host or the callers.
They have call-in shows on NPR.
They do, but you don't really. There's not much. It's the tone of it doesn't allow for anybody to be passionate about anything, and it's always very top down. We give you the information kind of thing. But I prefer NPR over many of the commercial shows, because I just want, give me as much information as possible. I can parse. I know that journalists lie. I'm aware of that. They lie through omission. They lie through the things they say. I'm aware. But the more information I can get, the better. And I can get more information in a minute from NPR.
Wait a minute, Mark. Wait.
Yes.
Are you saying that the people that report on the lying politicians are also liars?
I would say that's true.
Dun.
Just like that.
Let's go. Is there more to the story?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Just a little bit more. So, and nowhere else but public radio will you find such delightful jewels as click and clack, wait, Don't tell me.
Click and Clack isn't even live anymore, by the way.
Don't tell me. And the now mothballed but still beloved BBC program, My Word. So if you enjoy public radio, don't be a moocher. If every listener gives a lousy $10, the pledge drive would be over in half a day.
Yeah.
Make it stop. Please make it stop.
So they stop the pledge drive as soon as they reach their goal?
Yes, and this is one thing that they've gone to is that they allow you to sort of pledge ahead now, and so they'll only run the pledge drive basically twice a year when they have to up here, which I find to be much more desirable. So.
Meaning when you pledge ahead, that means like if they're not like if they do the drive in the springtime and I give money in the winter, they'll apply it in advance to the upcoming drive?
Basically, they budget. They've gotten better at how they allow people to donate, annually, and that budgeting essentially they only ask for the money that they need, and they keep that down to twice a year instead of 4 times a year. That's better.
How long does the drive normally go? Like a week?
As long as it needs to, and it can go up to a week.
They're unbearable, Ian. Like,
so
I
you've
promise
listened to some of this stuff?
Yes, I promise you, it is one of the worst things you will ever experience, ever. And just make it stop. Just please, guys. If you like a radio station, send in $10 and seriously, don't ruin my radio station.
What I think it points out interestingly is sort of the tragedy of the commons.
Why is that?
Well, because people just wait around for somebody else to pay.
Somebody will take care of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And but interestingly, ultimately, somebody does.
Right.
Public radio has not been. It's been uninterrupted for decades.
Yeah.
And if they stop the government funding, it would. My prediction is. Strong prediction is it would continue to be uninterrupted for decades more.
Yeah, if you can't cut 10% off of your business at any given time, that's pretty. That'd be shocking to me. That 10% is not a humongous cut to make. So even if they,
I don't think they have.
I think they'd make it up in the fundraising, no problem.
Yeah.
But even if they lost the 10%, it's not like it's game over.
Well, where do you think it's going? This 10%, this money.
Administrative salaries,
mostly paychecks, right?
Yeah, sure.
And the people that work for NPR aren't getting big paychecks. Come on, let's be serious.
Well, I don't know. They're government jobs. I wouldn't be surprised if they made more than their radio counterparts.
I don't know. They're not government jobs. These are largely independent organizations.
I thought these were government-run radio stations.
They get a government check. They are not government-run radio. I just said it was between 3 and 15% of their budget.
It's still a government-run operation, just like the Postal Service is a government-run operation.
That is not a government-run operation. No, they're not government-run operations simply because they get money from the government. They get some money from the government. That's a rather narrow view of what a government operation is.
So who runs these things?
The station manager.
And you're telling me that if I went and I looked at the owner of NHPR, that I wouldn't see the state of New Hampshire as the owner?
It would probably be the not-for-profit known as NHPR.
But aren't they authorized into existence by the state government? You can't just go out there and create your own NPR radio station by forming a corporation.
Yeah, you can go out and create your own NPR radio station. Sure you can. You just buy the programming from NPR. Sure.
And then you'll start getting a check from the government for 10% of your operations?
I think you have to probably petition for it in the same way that anybody fills out a grant.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't know much about this.
Government paperwork.
But I think you could probably just go ahead and pay for their programming and then run fund drives and be fine. I really think you could do it. Many people have these these crappy signals that are getting less and less relevant.
I would recommend that you go ahead and save your money and buy a pirate radio kit and then put your own signal on the air and broadcast whatever you want to do.
Pirate Radio, which is also a really good movie.
Which, by the way, I haven't seen that movie yet. I would like very much to see that movie.
There are people at the Quill that are yelling at me because I haven't seen Firefly or Dr. Horrible Sing Along.
Yeah.
But you know what? What you've done right now, saying that you haven't seen Pirate Radio, is just as bad, if not worse.
Oh, yeah? Well, have you seen Pump Up the Volume?
You run a freaking radio station, Ian.
Have you seen Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater?
No, I've not.
All right, now we're even.
Sounds really good, though.
Yeah,
what about Footloose? Didn't they have a pirate radio station in that one, too?
I don't recall. I've not seen
Didn't they have it in the back of a truck?
By the way, that movie
Pump Up
is
the Volume.
awful.
Oh, is that what I saw?
Footloose?
Footloose is awful.
Did they remake it?
Yeah. Matt, my best friend at home, is obsessed with Footloose, thinks it's just the best thing. And he's made me sit through it 6 times because he's convinced that every time that I watch it, he's convinced this time I will like it. And this is one of the reasons I moved to New Hampshire.
To get away from Footloose.
Well, it's funny that Footloose happened to come up in conversation here because I had a story. We're not going to have time to get into it tonight, maybe another night, about a business, Sacramento area in California, that has sued after he was arrested, apparently, for allowing his customers to dance. There are still places in America where you cannot have dancing in a private business.
You have to have a cabaret license.
Without a license.
Gotta have a cabaret license.
What is wrong with people?
It includes foot tapping.
It sure does in some places. It's true. Out of time for tonight. Check out Lauren at objectivistgirl.com, on Facebook as Objectivist Girl, and Free Talk Live online at freetalklive.com.
I'll be back.
You will be indeed. And we'll see you tomorrow night online in the meantime. freetalklive.com.
Yay!
If you uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies, that's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
There's a treasure hunt going on at mathgate.info, a Bitcoin treasure hunt. You can find Bitcoins by proving theorems. So, learn some logic, do some math, find some Bitcoins. Even better, mathgate.info is designed to be used anonymously. So, connect to mathgate.info through or prove some theorems, find some anonymous Bitcoins. Don't wait, others are already searching for the Bitcoins. Go to mathgate.info today and join the treasure hunt. There are anonymous Bitcoins to be had for the taking at mathgate.info.
Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but we'll hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
The live edition of Off the Air Live is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
Radio VR. Good morning and welcome to Radio VR. We're broadcasting from Washington, D.C. and around the world on voiceofrussia.com/US. I'm Rick Young. Today is Thursday, May 1st, 2014.
Radio VR News.
The State Department says a surge in aggressive al-Qaeda affiliates poses a serious threat to the U.S., while the department reports a more than 40% jump in terror attacks worldwide between 2012 and 2013. National Security Correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
Al-Qaeda's leadership in Pakistan and Afghanistan continues growing weaker.
A serious degrading of Al-Qaeda core,
which has sped up the network's decentralization, resulting in more freedom for aggressive affiliates in the Middle East and North Africa.
What that's done is allow a bit of space to a number of these groups,
who have in turn unleashed more attacks. Releasing the State Department's annual Global Terror Report, Counterterror Coordinator Tina Kadenow says Iran remains a big problem, supporting Palestinian terrorist groups and boosting its presence in Africa. Sagar Meghani at the Pentagon.
The president criticizes Senate Republicans for blocking an increase in the minimum wage. Correspondent Jerry Bodlander has the details.
It was the latest GOP rejection of an administration proposal, one Democrats will likely focus on during the upcoming midterm election campaign. Appearing with low-wage workers who would benefit from the proposed increase in the federal minimum wage to $10.10 an hour, the president said the Republican rejection of the measure shows the GOP cares little about average Americans.
They said no to helping millions work their way out of poverty.
Republicans say that increasing the minimum wage would end up costing jobs. Jerry Bodlander, Washington.
A new report says taxpayers lost $11.2 billion on the government's bailout of General Motors. Carlotta Bradley explains.
The estimate comes from a quarterly report to Congress by a government watchdog and is up from a previous estimate of $10.5 billion. After surviving its 2009 bankruptcy restructuring, GM went public again in November of 2010, and the government sold its last shares of the company this past December. The report says the Treasury Department wrote off a more than $825 million administrative claim against General Motors in March, ending its involvement with the company. I'm Carlotta Bradley.
Oklahoma's governor has put executions on hold until it finishes its investigation into what happened during a botched execution Tuesday night. Tim McGuire has the latest.
Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin has named the state's public safety director to head a review of what happened during death row inmate Clayton Lockett's execution. It was stopped when Lockett went into convulsions. He died less than an hour later of what officials say was a massive heart attack. Fallin telling reporters,
an independent review of the Department of Corrections procedures would be effective and also appropriate.
Fallin has ordered a stay of execution for Charles Warner, who had been scheduled to be put to death as well on Tuesday night. His lawyer has already raised objections to her naming a member of her cabinet to head that review. I'm Tim McGuire.
NBA owners will talk today about getting Donald Sterling, owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, out of the league for good. Warren Levinson explains.
The NBA's advisory committee, 10 owners who function as a kind of executive board, has scheduled a conference call to discuss the next step in removing Los Angeles Clippers owner Donald Sterling from the league. Forcing Sterling to sell requires the agreement of 23 of the 30 NBA owners. Reaching that goal would appear to be no problem, given the numerous statements of support that followed Commissioner Adam Silver's order expelling Sterling from all NBA business and games for life following the publication of Sterling's racist rants. Sterling was also fined $2.5 million. Minnesota owner Glenn Taylor chairs the committee. Warren Levinson, New York.
Colorado is looking into setting rules for people who like to eat marijuana. Ed Donahue tells us why.
The rainfall totals are staggering.
Here in the Inslee area of Pensacola, we got about 26 inches. And where we live, we got about 14 or 15 in the next county over.
David Edge was checking out flood damage at his office. Boats and Humvees made their way through flooded streets to rescue people. Sheila Reed hopes the worst is over.
It's going to be terrible damage if it isn't already.
Flash flood warnings in some areas are expected to remain in effect for days. I'm Ed Donahue.
And that's the news for Radio VR in Washington. I'm Rick Young.
If you're a parent, chances are you know all about the Spooky Truth books, with subjects ranging from shadowy fraternal organizations to mind-controlling TV shows. Kids can't get enough of this series of short, scary children's novels.
And Spooky Truth author K.L. Graves is joining us this morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, my kids just love these books. In just 4 years, you've put out 25 books. It came from Tower 7, Curse of the Chemtrails, The Zionist Who Cried Holocaust.
Now, this stuff has really been